Awesome. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Hello. So excited for you guys to be here. And if you're an AM person joining us, just make sure your camera is off. We're going to kick this off in just a moment. Um, so we're gonna kick this off in just a moment, but first I wanted to introduce our assistant today. It's day 3 of your first weekend, Kristen. So, Kristen, will you tell
Oh,
everyone? I'm going to
hi.
add you. Hold on. Here we go. Kristen, tell everyone a little about yourself. She's from eLevate 3. So you guys just had your Eleversary is what I think someone called it.
I think that was Alexis. Yes.
Yeah, it was very cute.
Yeah. So, mhm. Yeah, I've Elevate 3 was a great group, was a really life-changing experience. And since then, I have helped open a new studio and a club here, to the Jayhawk Club here in Lawrence, Kansas. So if anybody is a fan of the Jayhawks, that's where I am.
I don't know. I think we got a lot of people in the Midwest, but not necessarily by you, but I could be
Okay.
wrong.
They may not
Yeah.
be Kansas fans.
Yeah. And Kristen was like, when she started, she was at another studio on several different types of reformers with fuzzy loops and no handles, and some loops and some handles, and
Mhm.
wildly long reformers. And she was able to make and wooden chairs of all different shapes and sizes. And she was able to like translate everything. And now she just got the Jayhawk Club to make a contrology studio so she could just do it all there.
Yeah. So you have all contrology. It's great.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is amazing. And
Hmm.
it's we just opened the studio in August, and I can tell such a difference in my own practice just in that few
Mm,
months of having access to that equipment. It's amazing.
mm.
It's
That's so
amazing.
fun. That's so fun.
So
I love
I'm
that.
glad to join you guys.
Yeah, and I think do I get to see you in March? You coming here in person?
I think so.
We have a fun surprise.
Ooh, right?
All right. So you guys, so Kristen's assisting with us today, and I'm really excited. I don't think I mentioned this whole weekend, but like when we decided to do 2 rounds, the only way I could do it is if I had help. Like, and I needed, and not just help for me, like help for you. Like I needed there to be someone that you could like bug that wasn't me. So like the assistants, you could be like, hey, like my sound is like I'll be back. Like just like have someone so that you could like, have that. But also at eLevate, we're really big on community. And one of the reasons anything that I do has a community aspect to it. Like it all just really does. And not that you're going to be friends with everyone and you're ever in a group, but like I really do believe in the power of having people who you have a shared experience with in this world and especially in this industry. And a lot of the things I got to do in this world are because of people I studied with at the exact same time with Jay. So there's people who studied with him before me and after me, and then there's like my group. And even though like literally every single one of them lived in a different country, like I had this not every I guess Joel's in Atlanta, but I had this really amazing experience where I get to joke that like I have a couch to sleep on in like 7 countries, and so and we supported each other through this experience and like we drew on each other and um there was obviously people like I resonated with more than others, but like literally even just going to lunch with them on the weekends or going to dinner or working with them in between times, like it's so important that you have this. And so I wanted to bring in the alumni because when you guys graduate you're in an alumni group, so there's another Slack that's happening. It's like another dimension with all the people who've graduated. They're all there together. And it's something you just get for being a grad. And it's really fun because I see round ones, twos, threes, and fours all hanging out and doing and working out together and helping each other and asking questions. So I just want you to know like this is a group. And yes, there's another group that's going on. And so it kind of feels like the real world with like two houses. So you're like, they're there. And like, but you know that there's people who are rooting for you and they're so excited for this journey that you're on and they remember what it's like to be you and they can't wait to meet you. And the other thing is is that you do have a partner that you're connected with that we kind of like assign based on like time zone or like based on like experience. Like we kind of really try to take all these different things from your applications in to pair you up. And we want you to absolutely work with them, but also we want you to connect with each other. So there's going to be times in these weekends where you're in breakout rooms with different people. Our goal is to kind of get them to be not your partner, but that sometimes happens because Kristen and I don't have that partner list in front of us, so it might just happen. So we apologize if it's the same one, but we'll work on that for future rounds for sure. So today we have to do a workout where those of you who didn't move yesterday, and the second workout. So that second workout that was more of a like me just saying the names of the exercise and us just watching. We need to get you moving. So very specifically, do not answer one question, answer both questions. I only want to hear from you in the chat. If you're going to put in the chat, if you are moving today, like you're able to move on camera today, and you didn't do the second workout last night. So there was 4 of you or 5 of you who did the second workout last night. There's only a few of you left. So you didn't do the second workout and you are going to move on camera today. Okay. Can you drop that in the chat? Because that way Kristen knows who to spotlight. So while you're doing that, so do not answer. If you moved last night in the second workout, don't respond. Don't respond. Don't confuse us. We just want to know only the people who did not do the second workout who are moving today, because that's who we're going to spotlight for this one section. So if you're not moving today, we will talk about that later. But if you can toss in the chat if you are someone who should be on camera for this next workout, we need to know. Okay, so while you're doing that, and Kristen's getting that list up, what we're going to do is we're going to hey ladies, so sorry, I hypervigilance. If you're talking, I can't hear myself. Thank you. So we're going to do about that 25-minute workout where those of us who are going to who are not moving are going to observe, and I'm going to give as few words as possible. Mostly, I'm just going to be giving out the name of the exercise and like quantities so that you guys who are moving, can feel what it's like to have very little corrections and just be in your body and feel what that's like. And then those of you who are watching get to watch one person. You'll pick one person to watch, and that is going to be so you can practice seeing trends in bodies. Not everyone has the same experience in like watching bodies move and looking for trends versus where all the different things are they're going wrong. Do you understand the difference there? Like, I think a lot of teachers are used to like trying to figure out what's going wrong in everything, but not necessarily seeing what's the trend that's going on, so that we can actually give exercises that that body needs versus just words to like whack a mole. Okay. So, all right. So Kristen, go ahead and spotlight Laura, Vero, Carrie, Sarah. That feels right. Oh no, Sue, you gotta get a girl, get on camera. You haven't been on camera enough. So Kristen, spotlight my blue mat to get Sue. Thank you. And Carrie's gonna be on the Cadillac. Great. Oh, you don't need yours, Sue. Just lay down. Kristen's gonna spotlight my blue mat for you. Oh well, yeah. Start standing up. Carrie, be careful. You're on a Cadillac. Don't hit that crossbar. Okay, that looks right. Is anyone feeling like they should be on camera and they're not right now? If so, speak now. Okay,
Did I get everybody?
I think you did, babe. All right. So we're gonna stand up and you'll lower. It's okay, Sue. You already did it. And you're gonna lower down with control into your 100. And then go into your 100. After your 100, you'll go into 3 roll-ups. And Sue, grab a dowel on your strap, babe. Yep, grab a dowel. Good luck with that one. Carrie, there's a dowel underneath. Yeah, underneath the Cadillac. So go into your roll up when you're done with your 100. Some of you are actually counting to 100, so that's impressive. Now we all know the others didn't. And then 3 roll ups. And if you're doing rollover, go ahead and get into your rollover, 2 in each direction. If you're not doing rollover, you do more roll ups. After 2 rollovers in each direction, go into your single leg circles. Move with your breath, love. So inhales, go into exhales, and exhales, go into inhales. Yeah, that will get you a little more on pace. And then 3 single leg circles in each direction, each side. And then go into 3 rolling like a balls. And then you'll transition into single leg stretch. And you'll do 3 of each of the ab series. So pull, pull, switch. And then double leg stretch. Remember, it's a pull, pull, reach. I watched that happen. I watched the save, and now it's on suit. There we go. Sorry, everyone. That's gonna be a fun. That's a fun replay to watch. All right, single straight leg stretch, double straight leg stretch. For those of you who are watching, please make sure you're watching one person. It's easy to watch all 5. Just pick one person to watch. You can often pin them on your own device so that you don't have to do it. Sometimes in more spotlight, you can't pin them. It's okay. After your ab series, go into your spine stretch forward. And do not go into open leg rocker until I tell you. We're all going to catch up on spine stretch forward. So legs just as wide as your mat. So some of you, Sarah, I think you can narrow off a little bit too. I think yeah, there you go. More open leg rocker. And put your hands between your legs and try the one with the hands between the legs. Yeah, so you can push the floor away to lift your low ribs up. Yes, yes. Laura, try to round your upper back a bit more. It's a little flat there. And then after one more spine stretch forward, go into open leg rocker or repeat your spine stretch forward or you're rolling like a ball. Oh, Sue, I know you remember we talked about you and Carrie, remember? And then at the top, open and close, and then flex the ankles, grab the toes or reach for them and rock back and up. Yeah. Yes. Woo, way to go, Vero. Way to get that booty up. Yes, Sue. Nice. Everyone looks so good. Okay, lie onto your back for a corkscrew. So two corkscrews each direction, and then saw two to each side. Yep. Use your moon boxes. Now you can be wide with your legs. Oh, that was all right. Swan. So three swans of your choosing. Swan prep or swan dive or drop catch, and then go into a child's pose. Uh-huh. Then come out for your single leg kick. Three each leg, and then two double leg kicks. Hands more up. Sarah, see if you can get your palms up to the ceiling. And yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. And then up to the ceiling when you reach. All right. Once you're even, sit back, round your spine, and then roll up into your thigh stretch. We'll do three with your dowel. Carry your dowel may or may not fit because of your height. Yeah, let's lift your arms up. Yeah, you're too tall. Everyone's thigh stretch is getting on that walk on that wild side. Way to go, peeps. Okay, neck pull. Three neck pull. If you do high scissors and high bicycle, you'll do three of each. If not, then replace it with something that was a challenge for you so far. So close your legs a little bit and scoop back. There. So it's just a hip distance apart. Yeah. And then Laura, separate your legs. Yeah. All right. High scissors, high bicycle if it's in your practice. And then into your bicycle. I love the energy. And then we'll go into your shoulder bridge. There, the bicycle has gotten more reach. That's great. Yeah. All right. Hips up. All right. Spine twist comes after your shoulder bridge. You can see who knows their order. Way to go, Sarah. Just two to three each way, and then go into your jackknife. Three if you do it. Otherwise, replace it with something else. And then side kicks. We'll just do front back on the side kicks three times each side. Sue, use the handles. You have them. That's why you're on that mat. Otherwise, Laura's over there dying. Harry's dying. Like, you got the handles. Side kicks, three, front, back, and then flip over other side. Mm-hmm. All right, teaser, guys. Teaser, all three hip circles, swimming. Everything down and up. And do your hip circle. Ooh, hip circles. I think you've done enough teasers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Straighter legs and take your arms back. Remember, holding is better. Point the feet, unless you're trying not to kick something, but just point the feet. Thank you. Okay. Find a teaser. Finish your hip circles. Yes, and then roll down. Okay, we got to work on these transitions, ladies. Okay, flip onto your stomach for swimming. Mm-hmm. Sit back, stretch it out, then leg pulls, and then flip over if you can. Fancy or just get over. Mhm. And the kicks, it's not about kicking your face. Reach for the wall. I've been dealing side kicks. Let's do three circles on each side. Just three circles each side. Yeah. And then side bend. Laura, I think your feet are too close to your body, babe, unless you're doing mermaid. Okay, then yeah. Drop your tailbone more though. So you want to get up a little taller in your waist. You're a little like a leaning tower of Pisa. There you go. There, see on the other side, I want to see that side bend when you go down on the straight legs. I want to see it stretch the bottom waist. It's a little bit happening in the bottom shoulder. Yeah. So as you go down, that shoulder gets to stay where it is. And then as you come up, yes, exactly. As you come up, the hip needs to go higher versus the shoulder coming in. Better. It's getting better. Yeah. Awesome. Boomerang if you do it. Otherwise, it's seal. So a couple boomerangs, three seals, two crabs, three rocking. So 2, 3, 2. Yep, that's good enough. Crab, you can do it all the way into the head, or you can just do the second half. That's why we do this. All right, rocking. After a few rockings, sit back into your child's pose and then control balance or whatever you do in replace of it. All right, roll up is standing for your push up. And then just go out one time for your push up and do 3 push ups. Love it. Wonderful. My movers, as you move, take some time to write down what you want to celebrate that you did and what exercises felt more possible, which ones are still a struggle. Those of you who are watching, Kristen, we can take them all off spotlight now so you can go back to the main group. As you're watching, what was it like? What did it feel like to not get to say anything to them?
I guess I'll chime in. Yeah, honestly, not talking the whole time, there's more allowance, like for them to be in their own feel, allowing them to kind of have that. There's
Mhm.
probably more growth happening in some of that than there would be otherwise. So,
Yeah, 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 I understand. I agree. What else? Anyone else have an experience want to share? Shannon, and then Anne.
You can see more because you're not worried about what you're going to say. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think we haven't said that in the AM group. They're like, I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what to add that didn't wouldn't just take away. And it's like, yeah. And we're like kind of thinking, like, what should I say? What should I say? And it's like, now you're not even present either. And so, yeah. And what did you want to say?
I noticed that I was watching Vero and I saw her really just processing everything in her head. It's kind of like she was being very meticulous, but because nobody was cueing her, she was really thinking through the exercises and trying to feel in her body. So that was interesting to watch. And she would kind of pause for a minute and you could almost see it processing in her head. And then she would do the movement.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Isn't that nice to just like see how, because everyone learns differently. And also, like, some of you are partnered with bodies that are very similar to yours, and some of you are partnered with bodies that are very opposite of yours. And so, if it's someone whose body is very similar to yours, then obviously you might be able to share something from how it feels in your body. But if it's different than yours, you kind of almost don't know what to say. And so then it's almost like you just need to ask them how they feel. And then you have to go, huh, is that where they should be feeling it? Like, And that's where like it's a collaboration. It's actually quite fun. You and the client together get to co-create what the workout can be based on how they're processing it, right? So a lot can get there could be things can be misunderstood with the same phrase, right? And so because a body it's tighter is going to misinterpret it differently. And I'm still learning your guys' bodies. And so there's a couple times I've said things, I'm like, that didn't do what I wanted. Doesn't mean I'm not a great teacher. Doesn't mean they're not a good student. Just means that like I haven't figured out what they need. And to be honest, I would I can't wait to like have access to other things that I could just give them as homework because that's going to be more effective. So she always said ugly Pilates, get used to it, dangerous Pilates, never. And even pretty Pilates, disconnected is can be distracting, can feel like, oh, they got it. And so if we have to go, okay, where can we get more out of them? Right? Where can we get more? And I think that's where I hope to train your guys' eyes is like even in where they're doing exercises that are maybe not in your body yet, where could they get more out of it? So before we talk to the movers, something that I could see is first of all, I could see a lot of you guys understanding exercises better today than from Friday. Like, even if you feel like you're still trying to learn the choreography, there wasn't a lot of like crashing or flopping. It was a lot more like you knew what was coming, even if you didn't know how to do it for your body yet. Like, you're still figuring it out. So that was really cool to see. I can also see after a few days, like, where are we consistently like needing to work? And for some of you, it is on the exercises, you know, the choreography, it is definitely making sure that the movements are affecting your center. Because some of you are doing the in the exercise, you understand the movement well. I'm seeing the movements, like you check all the boxes, but I'm not seeing the movements affect your center. So I see the legs open and closing, but I don't see a change happening at all. You're not getting taller, your center's not getting stronger. You know what I mean? There's not more connections happening. And so that's where it's going to be the challenge for you. It's like, how can I get more out of an exercise I actually feel confident doing? For some of you, it is going to be trying to still figure out the choreography, and that's okay. So just get through that so that we can get to the juicy part. Those of you who are moving, did you have any realizations, any aha moments and being able to move without too much correcting? Go ahead, Vero.
I definitely find it less distracting, which is a really interesting thing for me to think about in terms of myself teaching others. Because like you said, so much of our training and our, it's been so ingrained, like you need to like guide them every step of the way and you need to cue them every step of the way. And so I had started working on modifying that into more like asking questions, like having people more reflect on like what they're feeling. But I feel like I have so much more work to do now in terms of stepping back even further and letting them do more self-exploration.
Yeah. Yeah. I took a Mysore Ashtanga yoga class once. So I've taken yoga for many years. And I really love this teacher. And he was in Santa Monica and I lived in Westwood, which is like, it's only 2.5 miles away, you guys, from my door to that door, but that's an hour because you have to cross the 405 to get there. And so at any rate, I saw that this teacher I loved taught at 6 a.m., 3 days a week, literally a mile from my house. I could run there. Like, I mean, I didn't because it was 6 a.m. So I drove. It was only 5 minutes, but it's Mysore. And I didn't know what that meant. I just was like, I love this teacher, whatever. So I show up and like people are all moving around. They're all in different parts of a class. Mysore means self-practice. Ashtanga has an order. Ashtanga yoga was actually invented for puberty boys to keep them really busy and tire them out in India. That's really what it's for, like to just keep them from like thinking about sex and just that's literally what it is. So it's technically made for teenage boys, So it's really important to know that because like as a body of a woman, and then also as you get older, like some of the moves are just like not awesome for your hips. But at any rate, I was watching 30 people at 6 a.m. have their own Ashtanga journey. They all have the order, but they're all at different points because they got there 5 minutes early, 5 minutes late, whatever. And he comes over to me and he said, okay, you're going to do series A and series B. Do you know what those are? I said, yes, because I took his class. He's okay, do them 5 times in a row. Series A, 5 times, series B, 5 times, and then raise your hand. Okay. So I did that. He's like, okay, now I want you to go to these exercises. These exercises are how you start the practice. You're going to do them. You're going to add the series A and the series B and do them 5 times in a row. Right. So then I did that. And then he comes over, he's like, this comes after this. And here's these next 5 exercises. Now go back to the beginning and do all the way to the end, like the whole thing, 5 times. Did that. And he comes over, he's like, okay, there's only 15 minutes left. So here's the last 5 exercises for your Ashtanga practice. So he showed them to me and he said, do them 5 times in a row in Shavasana. Goodbye. And I did that. Class is over and he goes, okay, I'll see you on Thursday. I'll see you on Wednesday, whatever it was. And I came back and he's like, okay, do you remember? And I said, yes, this is the first. This is this. Then he goes like this and he goes like this. He goes here. He's like, yep, do that 3 times in a row. Raise your hand. And then he added in. And so this is how he taught me my order, was having me repeat the thing, right? And so I had to be in my practice. And here it was, he did not correct any of my positions until like the third week, because by then I wasn't trying to remember what goes where. Then I was like doing it and he goes, oh, okay, she keeps having this arm too high. Well, now he can correct it because I'm not trying to figure out yet. And so sometimes we get in there too quickly and they're still trying to figure out, am I rolling? Where am I looking? Where's my shoulder? You know what I mean? So like keep it on the what's moving where for a while and it will start to reveal what do they need, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? No. Go ahead, Laura.
I felt like I was waiting, like I need to know the order better. There were a couple of times where I was like, why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she like I was expecting the cues. So it's kind of strange.
You were waiting for me to correct you?
Yeah, well, it was like I was expecting it, but it wasn't coming. Like my brain was kind of like confused.
Mm-hmm. Well, yay. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty to do. Like you and Sue, I think both, the more mobility you get out of your limbs and your center, the more this practice is going to grow with you. You guys were doing the movements and we just need to get more length out of it or more like flexibility, like in joints, different parts of your bodies. Like you're not the same, right? Carrie, I think, needs to trust herself a bit more. She actually, I mean, like, yes, her flexion is restricted and we're getting there. I think it's actually just a strength thing and not really a structural thing. But she needs to trust herself more because then she can transition. Sarah has incredible transitions, and because she's a pretty mover, she's going to trick all of you. For sure, anyone watching Sarah, I bet was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And like, you're going to be tested because she can get more. She can get so much more. When she goes down into her teasers, her roll-ups, she does a little rib shift. And when she moves her legs, they don't always connect to her center. And so she's super strong and her transitions are juicy as fuck. But like, I'm excited to see, like, as we get her center more stable in some things, it's gonna just be like, oh. So there's just more. There's always more. And so but that's what's fun about it. None of you get to compare yourself to Sarah because like you're not each other's bodies. You don't have the same experiences. You don't have the same life experiences coming into this. Even if you've been doing Pilates for 20 years, same amount of time, right? Like where was I? I had the opportunity for, one of my girlfriends and I studied from the exact same place. I worked at the exact same studio. She was 6 months ahead of me. She's a dancer. I'm not. So she looked so different in her practice versus my body going into it. Just the experience as an athlete coming into Pilates and her as a dancer. Not that dancers are athletes, but like as a not a dancer athlete, right? Coming into it, we just had different experiences. Now, where our practice is vastly different. She's had a child. She doesn't practice as much as me, right? So then we have different experiences. So I would just say, like, really enjoy watching others' bodies to teach you where you can grow more, where you can get more, and also like let their bodies teach you the same, like, where can they grow more, because then you can take that to your clients, right? So yeah, I think, and then Vero, I think Vero does so much better not being overcorrected because I have seen Vero move every couple of years since I've known her. And I can see her trying to like apply things in the moment when she's hearing it. And here now on this day, 3 days of going through this, like I can see her finding it in her body. And like it's really been fun to see what she's focusing on in those things. And so it's just really important and it takes time. And if you're not used to watching bodies like on a screen, please don't be hard on yourself. Like what I hope you take from this is that when you are teaching this week, you also like can observe more of what we're doing here in your own clients' bodies in person, that three-dimensional, right? And so maybe you don't talk every rep. Yeah, Vero.
But just like almost like a philosophical question, I guess. It's
Okay.
like the way, the way we were so like programmed by our certifications and everything to like talk people through and stuff. I feel like there's this like underlying um fear, maybe, I don't know, about people not needing us as much as instructors. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like if we're not talking enough, if we're not giving them, are we not giving enough? Are we, are we, are we somehow selling them short by not giving more? And it's almost like,
Well, now you're just going into like how the patriarchy taught women and raised women to never thinking they're enough. And then Pilates is primarily women who are also mostly from dancers who never think that they're doing enough. And they have to make sure that they like wait to be told that they're the prima ballerina and they're the chosen one. And by the way, this is how much you make. And we have more critiques for you, more notes, because that's what you do after every performance. Here are more notes where you could have been better. So yes, philosophical, actually, it's just literally how you're raised in this world, in this country. You lady are never enough. And the training programs are built off of that same society. So of course they're like that. Right. And I think it's really, really important that you know that your clients aren't going to, it's not like you're going to stop talking tomorrow. Right. And also, it's not that you don't talk, because I also get people who come at me in this and they go, well, now I feel like I have no personality. You have personality. You think Jay's lips were zipped the whole time? No, he was talking about Broadway and travel. And then he would sit there and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch. And then he'd go, oh, how's your dad? Like, so he was talking too. The pendulum is going to feel like it's swinging far and you're going to land in a spot over these 9 months. But I just want you to observe yourself this week. Do you ever let 2 reps in a row go by without talking? Can you let 2 reps of an exercise go by without saying anything? And just what does that make you feel like? What does that make them feel like? They might even not even notice, by the way. But like to say, okay, you're gonna do 2 more on your own. Right? And then, okay, next. So it's not like it's not silent, it's not study hall. Even when I practice at the studio, so obviously the last several years I've been on Zoom with Jay before he passed, and it was a Joe's gym. So like everyone's on a computer and he's on a computer. Do you think there wasn't chit chat? There was chit chat. But also there was a lot of times where he wouldn't say anything. We're just moving, not saying, you hear springs, you're all this. And he would go, oh, Leslie, that's your recital piece. right? To this one exercise. And he's like, you make it look so easy and it's so hard. And so here's his personality coming out. It's because he's a dancer. So it's my recital piece. It's a complement to a specific exercise so that I know that that exercise is not like I own that one, right? And then to someone else, he would go, oh, you're cheating yourself. You know what I mean? And so he didn't actually always give specific corrections because in just saying you're cheating yourself, it gave us the permission to go, where am I cheating myself? Where could I get more? So what I would just say is I don't expect you guys to stop talking tomorrow. What I want to challenge you with over these next several weeks is just where can you shut up? Right? And what words are you adding in that don't need to? Make sure. He, I want you to. Now we're gonna. Good, 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 good. Right? So being specific with compliments is important. So that's good. That's not specific. I love the reach to your heels there on your roll up. That's so good, Vero. Why is that part important? Then Vero knows that what she's doing with her feet in her roll up is so good. So she repeats it the next time. And if I see her in spine stretch 4 and go, oh, can I get those roll up heel reaches? She knows what I'm talking about because I just complimented it on her. So, it's not like you're like strict, like it's a library. You just become more direct, right? You just more direct. Okay. And doing this, you'll also realize when you give an exercise too early because it will just turn into a hot mess. And it'll go, whoa, right? As opposed to you going, okay, let me fix the shoulders, let me fix the arms, let me fix this. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'll just go, yeah, you know what? That's great. Let's do this over here. And you just put a little back thought, okay, I need to do more things here before I add this back in. And that's so it kind of reveals itself. But when you're so used to overcorrecting, over cueing, over communicating, you don't realize when you've added an exercise too soon because you're just talking through it the same way you talk through everything else. And then, so anyways, just full permission. And you don't have to tell your clients you're doing this. You can just say, all right, you're going to do 3 on your own. I'm just going to stay here and watch. Cool. Okay. I want to know. I love how you squeeze your inner thighs here. That was so good. Great. Let's do this now. And so it's just going to help you and your clients actually be more task on hand. And they're going to really actually leave knowing what they did really, really well. More than, wow, I can't even do any of that. Everything I do, I have get corrected on. All the things. There's not you know what I mean? Yeah. Um, any other questions, wonders, worries, aha moments? Anything on anyone's heart we need to talk about? Yeah, Vero.
Sorry, I had a lot of light bulbs hitting me that going off. But I was thinking also like those people we work with who are so also controlling and type A personalities, and you see them nitpicking themselves. And I feel like
And then you just add to it.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking about how different this was in the sense of like once you force them into this flow, it's like, no, you don't have time to sit there and nitpick every detail about yourself. Keep moving because we're already on to the next thing, you know? And I'm sure the beginning it must like totally throw them off where they're like, what the heck? Like I haven't even finished fixing that thing before I'm moving on to the next thing. And like helping them understand like, no, this is part of the practice. Like you are just going to keep moving, keep flowing, and one day you will get there. Don't worry about it.
And the fun part is that you get a future type A person who's never experienced nitpick Pilates and they won't know a difference. And so then you get to give them time to be in their body, trying to remember what you did say. Right. And I've had people going, oh my gosh, like, I need you to tell me everything that you're doing. I've had my past teachers tell me everything. They keep me moving. And I'm just really honest with them. I'm like, well, they were trained to do that. And that's not how Joe's studio was. And I was trained to do that. And I'm going to tell you, it never made me feel good about myself. And here, I'm here to help you feel like the strongest person you are. And I will correct you if it's wrong, if it's dangerous, if it's going to hurt you. Absolutely. But also, like, let's see how rep 3 looks from rep 2. And let's also see like what your body is saying that it can do today versus what it can't. So then if I'm just going to correct Laura till the cows come home about her shoulders. Her shoulders are not going to be flat today, guys. It's not happening. I have to teach her shoulders where to be. I could say widen your shoulders, and she might be able to do it for a rep. But the reality is it's my job to actually tell her where her shoulders go and teach those exercises. So Laura needs a sandbag. Laura needs a wall, right? And she's going to have to do it as homework because if she doesn't, we'll go years with the same issues. And she's like, it's all, I'm just doing the same. Yeah, because we have to teach, you have to strengthen your shoulder girdle. You have to get mobility there. Christine, on the other hand, needs stability there. Right. So like we can tell her to the cows come home, oh, don't lock your elbows. Oh, shoulders on your back. Oh, that's not on your back. Shoulders like why you know, we have to teach her what stability actually is. So yes, sometimes words work. I tried, and on Sarah Keeley on her side bend, it sort of worked, and it still didn't get me what I was like, well, now we're having a dissertation on this. And to be honest, I could teach her it somewhere else what I want. So yeah, so I understand with the type A ones, it's fun, it's gonna be interesting, but the new ones will be more fun. And and your value is in what you see and what you give them, not just the words coming out of your mouth. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of us being silent, I want to, for your replay access, I want you to have the 1 rep drill on this replay so you can do it with me and so you can do it on your own. The 1 rep drill to me it's so many things. So one, for those of you who are new to an order, it is a great way to practice the order. For those of you who are new to transitioning, it is a great way to practice transitions and flow, right? And if you are omitting exercises, then you get to create your own transitions. And if you watch the replay back, you'll see Sarah has some really fancy transitions. I'm not super graceful at those. They do exist. Ramona did those a lot. So they're fabulous and she can keep all of them. So the goal is that we don't have 500 exercises. We have one exercise. We do 500 ways. And so you're finding out what is your best transition so that you don't lose things. That's what the 1 rep drill is really fun. So if you're omitting 5 exercises, you get to create, well, how could I get from that exercise to this exercise and keep the Pilates aspect, right? So that's what the 1 rep drill could do. It's also super great for advanced clients to do at the beginning of their session so you can see where should you go with them? What should you do today? So you have them do a 1 rep drill. You don't even talk. You just sit there and just watch. And then you're like, oh gosh, okay, you know what? We got to do some things over here. All right, let's go. And you can get on the reformer and do an order, but you know what you're looking for and you're knowing what you want the reformer to do. Or you can get on the Cadillac and know what you want the Cadillac to teach people. Or you can, you know what I mean? So like the 1 rep drill for your advanced clients can actually be the thing that shows you the trends that are showing up in their body. So it's not about nitpicking the pinky toe or the shoulder. It's actually about seeing what happens. So I'm going to do it so you guys can see the 1 rep drill. And then later today, we will do 1 rep drill practice and be silent. Okay. So the lay of the land today is I'm going to show this 1 rep drill. Then we can chat a little bit more if you have questions about exercises and stuff. But then we're going to go deep into props. I shouldn't say deep. We're going to go broad into props, more of the bottom of pyramid than the top of pyramid. And then we're going to go into 1 rep practice where you guys are practicing in breakout rooms. Okay. So, Kristen, can you spotlight my blue mat, please? So I'm just going to call out the name so that if you're practicing this on the replay, you can kind of feel like if you're in front of me or in back of me, not that my pace is accurate, but just like for reference. All right. 100. Roll up. Roll over. Single leg circle. Roll in like a ball. Single leg stretch. Double leg stretch. Single straight leg stretch. Double straight leg stretch. Crisscross. Spine stretch forward. Open leg rocker. Corkscrew. Thaw. One. Single leg kick. Double leg kick. Thigh stretch. Neck pull. Carrie, can you move the bow back? It's too close. Thank you. Neck pull. Nice scissors and bicycle. Shoulder bridge. Pine twist. Jackknife. Side kicks. Teaser. Hip circles. Swimming. Leg pull. Kneeling side kicks. Side bend. Boomerang. Heel. Grab. Rocking. Control balance. Push-ups. Cool. All right. So hopefully you guys can then, oh, and by the way, that was like 7 minutes, right? Sometimes I do it in 5. It kind of depends. Are you being juicy? 5 on 7. Are you going for um understanding the order? It might be 5, right? If you're like to just know that that's that. It should never take 10. Like 10 minutes is your max. If you're going over 10, that tells me you don't know the exercises yet, right? And so just know that like if you do this and you time yourself, you keep hitting 10, something tells me you're taking a while to go, what's next? What's next? And if you do that 10 times, that's like almost a minute. You know what I mean? So just know that you're like set a timer for yourself and try to be under 10 minutes, get to that 5 to 7 minute range, and then focus on being juicy. And the thing that is challenging about it when you do it is that you kind of feel like, oh, if I had one more rep, I could have been better. But you don't today. And it's so easy in our practice. Well, oh, just one more. Let me just do one more and I'll get it better. Just do one more and I'll get it better. That felt very different than it did at 10 a.m. Just going to tell you right now, right? Just so you're going to feel different each time you do it. But I promise you, you guys do that as often as possible over these next several weeks. And you will feel like this is ingrained in your body. You'll start to recognize where you have more to give. You'll start to see how you do day after day. How do you feel after a busy teaching day? How do you feel after a day of no movement? How do you feel on your cycle? How do you feel off your cycle? How does it feel in the morning? How does it feel at night? Like these things matter and affect your teaching because your clients are also going through stuff, right? You also have clients who are going through life stuff, work stuff, kid stuff, gut stuff, IVF, all these things. And then you're like, oh, can you pull your shoulders back? Pull your shoulders back. Pull your shoulders back again. No, they just lost someone. That you know what I mean? So like so the more you do this, and it's easier to do with the mat than it is to ever do with any of the other equipment. So just get into it and it really becomes super fun. And you can do this with your group classes. You could literally have them do 1 rep of their order and then do it again. And then do it again. You can do about 3 of them in 30 minutes. And then they get to see how their body changes from each round, right? So there's just a lot of fun you could do with it. There's not like the sky's the limit. Any questions on the 1 rep mat or any of the exercises? Sue? Go ahead, babe. Hold on, Sue. Sue's not unmuted, so go ahead, Sue. Just tell me, I'll repeat it.
Do the hips need to be? I know when I'm trying to do it, I try to press my hips up. Is that what I'm looking for? Is to keep those hips up, or am I really thinking lengthening that leg out and not worrying so much about what the hips are doing?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I would say is muted. Here we go. Yes, the answer is yes. What I would say is the more you focus on reaching your tailbone toward your heels first, focus on the length of your spine, then get the lift of the hips. Because if you focus on the lift of the hips and you don't have the strength in your legs or your back or that length, where it tends to go is lower back, knees. Right? So I would focus on reaching the pelvis to the heels and then lifting it up. So as you saw in mine, I'm more like a long round shape going to my legs. My friend Fernando, who has a much longer torso than me and shorter legs and much stronger torso than me because he's just broader. He looks like a straight line from shoulder head to toes. And when he kicks, it doesn't look quad. You can see it coming from his back and it's reaching. But anytime you lift the leg, you should feel it affect your center. The leg pushing down, and this goes for both leg pulls. The leg you're standing on, you should feel when another leg lifts that whole leg is like holding the pelvis in place, holding the center. Everything is still. The only thing that's changing is this leg that's moving. And when that leg moves, you should feel the center gather up the strength to do it. If I see a leg move, I'm just going to spotlight this so we can just have a visual. And when you guys watch replays back, I think you're going to really see this. So for example, this leg pull, which I know is not the one we're talking about. But if I see this, yes, I'm doing the choreography. But you see how there's like, it's ugly. Okay. Now, is it safe for me to do that for a while? Yeah, I could do that for a long time. Is that where you're going to teach me how to lengthen my legs or move them from my center? Probably not, because I'm against gravity, right? But maybe in the single straight leg stretch, we can look at how are they moving their legs? Are they just doing this? Right? Because if that's them, we've seen it, then of course they're going to lift. They're just going to do the leg lift. It's not coming from the center. But if they do their single straight leg stretch and I see the center getting stronger with each kick, then I can actually go, okay, here, can you push your leg like it's into your hands? Right? The leg should be here. So same as here, right? If they're like, okay, right? Versus like, I can feel my stomach without it like, you know what I mean? Because the body should be going longer, not together. Yeah. Yeah. So the hips, to your original question, they could be even higher than what I'm doing. It is going to depend on the body. It's going to depend on where they're already strong. And then their kicks can be as high as they're long. They got to go out first to go up. And they can go as high as everything else stays strong. If the kick kicks you off your center and you have to regain like that, and then we're just doing choreography. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Les? Okay. I want to go into props. It's going to be a lot of chaos of props. There is I mean, we could do like literally people do day-long workshops on 2x4s these days. So I just want you to know, like in these next like almost 2 hours, like this is not a robust list of props and their usages. What I want to show you and what I will emphasize the most is all the stuff that Jay taught Joe. And then I will show you how I like to use props to teach. So, for example, we have some people who have really tight upper backs. So I really like to use the ball or a bolster for people like Melissa, whose thoracic spine is a little tight, to help them find it. But what I try to do is that I try to do it as a warm up or at the end of their mat. So I try not to like do 3 exercises, add a prop, do 2 exercises, add a prop, do 3 exercises, add 2 props. I try not to do that. Because Jay said in Joe's studio, you would do your mat and or your reformer, and then he'd give you your exercises. And so with these props, they were part of the your exercises. And so, yes, there will be props that absolutely, like some of your bodies might just need for a bit. You don't have a strap on the mat, you're probably going to use a magic circle to help strengthen your outer hips on your roll up and your neck pull, right? But hopefully someday your outer hips get strong enough that we can actually ditch the magic circle for your roll up and use a ball to gather up strength for your inner thighs, right? So you might not ever let it go for the neck pull, but like just those things, right? Or also like my people who need something like a towel rolled up between their ankles because their knees are in the way. You know what? You might stop using it, not because your heels got together, but because the strength of your inner thighs and your midline is so strong, you don't notice that your heels aren't touching. You don't need that part, right? So just some things to think about as we go through these props. We're not entertaining our clients. Jay said that there was never a magic circle mat class. These are things that are great for marketing. And by the way, we do it too. So just so you know, it's not like, but like when you have the ability to really educate in a small group setting, it's a lot of fun and it's fun for me. I'll do stuff with a prop at the beginning of a class and then ditch it for the rest of the class. Or I'll do a class and then I'll add the prop in at the end for connections for next time. So I try to do that. I try very rarely to add a prop in the middle of a workout because it does affect flow. The other thing is any of these tools you're using to help you with connections, always try to do it without. All right. Now, some of these props are just really tools. They're accessories. And so it's kind of hard to be like, what's a prop? What's a tool? What's this? That's why if you use it, always think about using it for connections. It makes it easy to just think of it like, what do I need? What does this person need right now? Okay. So again, not an exhaustive list. Happy to go through it. We'll go through some props, take a break. That way I can see some of you guys use them in your body. Also, I've got 3 different bodies here, so you guys can then see their bodies do it. And then we can ask questions about it and explore. Cool? So we're going to do, we'll start with the magic circle because that's where people like to have a lot of fun. And I'm so sorry, there's a lot of light on that mat. Well, I'll get Brad to come in for some lighting. All right. So I have a lot of magic circles here for someone who works out alone. It's kind of crazy. All these magic circles. So first of all, Clara gave Jay a circle that looked very similar to this. It was framed in the studio for a long time. And it was so fun to look at because it really was just this metal. And then these were not even beautifully padded, upholstered handles. They were just like they were this shape, but they were kind of like hard handles. Like they just didn't have a lot of fancy things back then. Anyways, they were like the theory is they're keg rings. I imagine that's probably what it was, or at least that's the theme that they came from. This one has 3 rings. They all had, and like it was common in his studio that they had like different rings. This one has 4 rings, right? And this one has 2. So yeah, there's 2. Come on over. Look at this. You can describe it. So it's like, look at, so there's 2 rings, and this one has 4, and that one has 2. Yeah. Yeah. These are sold on Contrology, right? That's right. I got them from Balance Body. To be completely honest, I don't use them as much as this one. Yeah, I don't use them as much as this one. Because I like the pad on this one. I like the pad on this one. So I have 2 of the same, and I'll show you in a second. And then this mini one, Joe didn't have a mini one, but I love this mini one. And it makes me look, if you look at super old pictures of Joe, he had this thing like a tensometer. It's really weird. It was like how to explain it? It's kind of like the Thigh Master, but just one straight line. And it would like be between his knees. And so this makes me think of that because it is a little more effective for the fast connection I like to help people find. So we already know Laura needs to find her fast, so she's got some homework over here. But I like it for that. I like it for my petite peeps, because sometimes this is too big. But to be completely honest, if you can only buy one, too bad. You should get several, because you'll need them. So you need at least 2 that match and one of these. Okay. So this particular one, I'm gonna try to do it up here, but there's so much sunlight, so I'm gonna do it down here in the shade. But typically you would do this sitting on a Cadillac with your feet on a moon box or a short box, so you're kind of in a 90-90 sitting because you can push into your feet. Okay. I could do it here, but again, I think there's too much light. You won't be able to see me. If you do it sitting crisscross applesauce, you still got to use your legs. But I love sitting on the Cadillac or on a reformer bed, like a tower bed height, because then I can like push into my feet to get the back of the legs on so I can get taller. But what he would do is you would take the circle, and it's not to this direct side, it's slightly in front of your shoulder, and you're going to push down, and it helps you realize how low your arms connect. You know, I said the other day, like your arms start like way down here on the back, right? Well, if you actually push into this magic circle, you can actually feel how low like muscles turn on down here. Okay. So you do it on single sides, and you can go, oh, this one's a little, and what you also will see is like, does someone do this where the shoulder goes up? Do they bend their elbows? Do they lean into it? Like, how do they do it? Right. And then you get to do 2. And now I should see you get taller. Right. And how many exercises just in the mat alone? We've got saw and spine twist and side bend and kneeling side kicks, right? Like we circle our arms around for our push-ups. We circle our arms around like this for a double leg stretch. So we could keep going. So it's all these things that help connect this. So if you know you have someone who just like with their arms, what a good warm up, right? What a good way to connect that. So I love that one. It's really quite fun, not one to be rushed. Really amazing. The other thing, things that were taught to us in Jay's studio that I really like is I like this one. Kind of makes it, we'll learn it in the Cadillac weekend. It's kind of like this one little squat thing that we would do with the push through bar. But for those people who like jut their chin out a lot, this could work, or it could be terrible. But you press with your chin like you're going to do a little mini curl. And it's small. Like if you're like, is she doing anything? You guys have to like what I feel is like this pulls in. No, no, nope. I'm just like, getting a little stomach. So it helps connect this, like, how do we lift our head and chest? It's not chin to chest. It, right? It's this. So it's a little mini one. Then you can put it on the side of your head. So it's like practicing for neck stretcher. So I push, I can feel all this turning on, and then my neck muscles have to get strong. Everyone's so worried about their neck. I can't go on my head for that stretch. I can't do crab because of my neck. Well, strengthen your neck. Do you know how heavy your head is? Gotta strengthen your neck, you know? Everyone's so like nervous. So I'd be too if like I just let my head be like this all day. So then I love it behind because it mimics the neck stretcher. And when I'm on tour and I have to drive a lot, like I just feel like the car goes like this. So what's fun is I can like any studio, I can just grab a circle and go. I'm pushing with my head and my hands are opposing it. It's not a tricep extension thing. So that's really fun. Arms behind. It's not nothing to, but like I'm working really hard. I love this for my shoulder peeps who have a hard time with their arms behind their back because their hands are not actually getting closer to each other, but they're trying, and it wakes all of this up, right? So I love that. There's standing inside and outside the circle. So this one, standing inside, is kind of, it mimics your standing single leg springs that you'll learn your Cadillac weekend. But I'm going to stand in one leg and try not to lean. Good luck. And then I'm going to push this leg out, but this leg is doing a ton of the work to do that. And then again, if someone's leaning a lot, I would put them against a wall so they could push tall, or I'd stand them in front of a Cadillac, or I'd have them hold a gauntlet because you don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? You want to be as tall as you can pushing out. If they're hypermobile in their knees, you got to watch out for that because it's got to be from the femurs. Then there's inside. And if you were watching the tutorials, I noticed the team put a bunch of the prop tutorials. Some of those I don't really use as much anymore. Some of those are like I got from other classical workshops, and they're fun and they're useful. Absolutely use them. But ever since I really got obsessed with this and the standing inner one, I really like them more because you do them standing up tall, and most people trip and fall when they're walking or when they're running. And so to train these muscles to work to catch your balance is really key. So you try not to lean and you squeeze in. And so this is really helpful for people who have a hard time hugging their legs together, or they have a hard time feeling their inner thighs when their legs are apart, right? Most people's inner thighs are really weak. Then you keep the squeeze and you rotate it. And now the leg is pulling back. Well, guess what? This is like leg pull, the second one, right? Like pulling it in and like standing on this leg so that I could lift it up. Yeah. Single straight leg stretch. Then that front leg goes down and the back leg comes up, and now I pull this. Well, now that's the other leg pull, right? That's going to help you with side kicks and kneeling side kicks. Like you feel it all the way up here. Then it goes to the side again. And then it comes back to the front. And then it goes to the back. So if you have someone who's like bouncing this circle around and then you're telling them straighter legs and you're straighter legs, this is a great place for them to like, they're standing on their 2 feet because they don't want to, like, there's a lot more that they can learn and they can feel their core. And it's a great way to get all those connections, a great way to put towards the end of a workout so that they can get used to, how do my legs connect to here? Because if they just feel it in their leg, you go, where do you feel this? And they're like, oh, I just feel it in my knee. Okay, well then, of course, when they're doing their Pilates mat, you're not going to get into those other muscles. So I love that. So those are the ones I would do a lot of times in vintage. But then I'm going to show you a few more because I see some connections that are kind of missing. So some of your push-ups suck. I'm just going to call it out. And so, and here's the thing that I learned. about push-ups. And this comes from my trainer and my yoga teacher and like some other things I've studied. If you only ever bend your elbow an inch, you will actually only actually train your push-ups to be an inch. You have to actually train your push-ups in full range. So that's why wall push-ups are really great. Countertop push-ups are really great. Putting your hands on the Cadillac bed and like start, the higher up you are, the easier they are, and really training yourself on full range of motion push-up. But we have these circles, and it's not awesome if you have boob abundance, but you know what? Nowhere where your push-ups. So this will make them better. So you put it on the mat, it's in between your chest, and then you come into your push-ups, and now I can do full range. Right? Fun. So yeah, not the most comfortable thing. You're doing 3, big deal. You know what I mean? So then you can see, and then you're like, oh my God, I can do this. And then it's like, okay, well then let's do it with your knees down without this. Okay, now let's do it with your knees up without. You know what I mean? You can work your way up. So it's really nice to teach that. Fast connection stuff. This is for my hip flexor people, my people whose knees bend when they pick up a straight leg, or they kick their leg back and their lower back goes forward. This is for you. So I like the mini circle for this. Yes, you can use the big one, but I like the mini. And you place your ankle on it. And then I like people to grab like wherever your hand can reach without you like side bending. And then you just push the circle down. I put their hand there because if you don't have connection to these muscles, feeling them engage in your hand is really nice. You know what I mean? Like it helps the brain and the body connect. So I love a small one for this. By the way, to switch, do not use your feet. Do a roll up, switch it over because otherwise it's going to be crooked and then your knee's not straight and you know what I mean? So do both sides, do your weaker side. My left one is my weaker one. So I love that. And I'll do this as a warm up. Like I'll do lie on the mat, one leg, other leg, do the weak leg again. And then the 100, and double straight leg stretch, when I see people like struggle with lifting their straight legs up, or when they do double straight leg stretch, their knees are bending. I like to have this big circle here. I don't do the small one. It's too light for 2 legs. And I can just push down and I can resist the circle up. So it's not that my quads are turning on to lift the circle up. I'm pushing into the circle as I lift my legs and lift, right? So it teaches that like lift from the floor up for all. That's your jackknife too. Double straight leg stretch. It's control all those things. Then I can curl up and pump my arms for my 100. And it's not that the circle shouldn't bounce. I made this up, so I don't know. But I'm just pushing into it with the back of my legs and I'm trying to control the circle from there. And it lets these not overwork. So now I can feel my low abs engaged. Okay. So I love that. I want to do the squishy ball. Where'd it go? I'm also just gonna turn around. So I think I think the light's moving. All right, so here we go. So squishy balls, there's a ton, you get obsessed with having balls with no air around and in different sizes. Like I really there's some balls that look like a kind of like a walnut. I guess I would say like a half a walnut because they like are made to be like a bubble and a dent and a bubble. And they're small and they're so great for the people who don't like their ankle bones to touch or whatever so that they can squeeze their legs together. There's so many different size balls that you can use and you can let the air out as much as you need, right? And so I never fill up any ball. There we go. That's just too squished. They had too much air. So I love to use a ball or a yoga bolster. And of course, obviously, if you have a barrel, you would use a barrel. But my goal is to really show you how powerful the mat can be with bodies and how props and accessories can help teach connections so that we don't just become people who rely on springs all the time. They're amazing. You're gonna like love adding those into this, but like I really find that for most teachers, that's not the issue. that they don't say once they can have the reformer and Cadillac, they're like free to go. But like I feel like we don't have springs when we're not in our studio. You know what I mean? Like our life is not supported by a foot bar. So you put this ball and it's gonna people always go, is it the bra strap? I no, not for most, but it's kind of high up because you want it to be. I don't want you too high up. Like I don't want you use the ball to be in a half teaser. I want the ball to be where your pelvis is flat on the mat, like it would be for the 100 or your ab series, and you're in this curl, and your neck should be nice and soft. And then I can do the 100 here. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I could do the 100 here. So nice, right? I can do single leg stretch. I can do double leg stretch. And if I come off the ball, that's information for us. So my tight thoracic people, this is not going to be as easy as it looks. But my hypermobile people, you get to like it could also help you go, oh, that's where a curl is because it's easy for us to slouch, right? Single straight leg, double, right? I don't use it for crisscross. Something I also like to do is push my head into my hands and back bend over it to teach the thoracic extension and then curl back up. So you can do the 100 and then push the head into the hands into the head and go into thoracic and then pull back in. Do an ab series one. Go back, right? Like it can go flexion, and now you can really warm up that thoracic spine. I'm not going to teach the whole leg series because we'll do that when we get to barrels, but you can also put this under people's hips, right? And then that can help them even get ready for rollover because like now they're like kind of past the hard part. So that's really nice. You can do anything with the ball that kind of sticking out of the butt that you would do on a barrel. You can do any of that, right? It's really quite nice if, especially for people with tight lower backs or booty abundance, to feel, oh, that's what I'm supposed to feel to get my legs for rollover. You know what I mean? So really, really fun. Squishy balls or a yoga bolster are really great. Let's let you guys play with those. So if you have a ball or a magic circle, Sarah, I'm obsessed with how your burgundy matches your rug, and now we have this hot pink circle. Where did you get this hot pink circle? We all need it. Hold on, I'm asking you to unmute because I'm obsessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Where's
got
it
it
from?
yesterday at Marshall's, which is like TJ
Shut
Maxx.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
$9, $9.99.
I'm jealous.
Which suits me fine because I didn't want to pay a lot.
Yeah, no, because some of the cheap ones are too, like, you can feel them creep when you do them, but that looks solid. That looks like it has a really nice, yeah.
I've only ever had the Stott one and then one exactly like this in black, and I prefer the give to it. I don't like
Yeah.
the metal.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't use the metal that much myself either. I'm gonna try to figure out like some good stuff with the metal so I can just use them. But I'm with you. I like the give. I like the give that's pushing back. And I also like having other pads because yeah. Anyways, it's just so cute. Well, I guess we all
Yeah.
need to go to Marshall's in Canada.
Yeah.
And Amy, I'm not sure I play with it too much sitting, so just practice it sitting and standing because I mean I think you could because it's not a big movement, but something to play with. Ooh, this is good for Melissa. Yeah, Vero, I'm glad you're using the dowel with the circle to do your roll up. Uh-huh. So I think what I want from you on that up is a little more out with the legs. On the hardest part, push your thighs apart more, not your feet. Your feet will move because your thighs move. Try that. Thighs, 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 thighs. Much better. Less bend in the knee. It's all right. You're not going to break them. Oh, wow. Vicky's not in Canada. She's in Utah and got that hot pink circle at Marshall's last week too. And it's a close comparison to, oh, you're in Virginia? Oh, sorry, Vicky, not Ann. I'm looking at Ann and saying Vicky. Okay, so Virginia. All right. So the East Coast has the hot pink circles so far in two countries. All right. Yeah. No, the BB ones are a bit pricey for what they are. Honestly, I would tack them on to a bigger order. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, it doesn't feel like it that much compared to like a reformer. And it's and stand up for that one. Yeah. And then less chin down and more center to crown of the head. Where do you feel it, Anne? You feel it in your neck, the back of your neck. Okay, yeah. I want it to be in your stomach. So I think you're doing too much of this and not enough like so pull your belly in like you're gonna curl up for the 100 and then push the chin in. Okay, great. Good night, Vicky. Shannon, I don't think this is a walking meditation exercise. I think you have to stand still for that one. I think you gotta stand still. On your calves? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys who can't see Laura, she's asking me the circle is her leg is to the back, pulling the circle in. So because you tend to stick your booty out, I want it's gonna feel like you're tucking. Lift your hip points up, especially your left hip point up, and pull the circle in from up in your stomach. Do you feel that? So that's how I want your legs to lift, is from that stomach. Yeah, the standing leg should be working in the magic circle, not a problem. But when you're pulling the circle forward with the back leg, it should feel like single straight leg stretch, control bounce from the stomach. So a lot of people, you guys, so what I was just correcting Laura to do is like a lot of people do it and they're like their hip points are like this. And so I told her to pull her hip points. Right. Mm-hmm. I would move that ball higher up your back. More, more. No, it still needs to go higher because you're lifting off of it. Yeah, so try to get your low ribs even to, yeah. So you're trying to find the same shape of the 100 in the ab series. So the ball shouldn't be pushing you up to a teaser. Melissa, bigger pumps. Bigger pumps. And that looks like a better 100 for you. Yeah. I don't even, honestly, I didn't even expect either you or Melissa to lift your legs up like that. That was amazing. Yeah. So, Vero, I don't hate that, but I don't love it because your elbows are bent and you need your elbows to be straight. Yeah. Can you put it on the outside of your ankles instead, Vero? Because I don't know that I love that any more than you just reaching for your feet. I don't think it's adding anything. It is a wobble in your pelvis now that I didn't see before. So push out and point your feet. Now just reach for your toes and rock back and forth. Yeah, push out. Straight elbows. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. This, I think, if you're gonna use the circle there for open leg rocker, I think I like it better on the outside because it's making you activate your outer hips and get your glutes to be part of the exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. I was thinking with the other little version I was doing, my thought was more about kind of teaching myself to get up onto my shoulders
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to roll off of it so fast that I don't manage to grasp the sensation yet of what it's like to be up on my shoulder girdle.
Yeah, I think I'd want to practice that on rolling like a ball with less distalness. And because I totally get what you mean, until we can like do tower. And then tower you
Okay.
get to really feel like, yeah. But my the thing I didn't love about the circle in your hands was when you were overhead, it felt, unless you're really intent on pushing with your legs, it kind of felt like you didn't have enough reach in your arms. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like that's the only thing. I don't think it was bad. And I do think you were getting your hips up higher, but the wobble in your pelvis was just, yeah, something. So I understand what you mean. I think it's worth
Totally.
exploring. And then it's like, do most warm-ups. So I'm gonna do my mat work. Okay, so let me do this with the magic circle and this with the magic circle and this magic circle, and then go through your, and like if you're like, oh no, I know I need the circle here because my butt turns off. Great, grab it and then try to do a rep without it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so that you always, so you know when you need it. Yeah, because you're super strong. And honestly, another thing I wonder about you being on your shoulders is just a trust thing. Like you're on top of a high mat. You don't have a lot of experience being on there. So I'm just wondering if it's just like trusting that you're strong enough to hold it on to it.
Yeah, I overthink things for sure.
That's
That's a
okay.
life factor.
We all need a you in a group because there's someone in here who's underthinking everything. Yeah.
Oh, if you want to know all the risk factors, I'll be your gal. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
yeah. You and Brad are the people who help me see, oh, there's a liability issue here. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Any questions on any of these? So, Anne, if you want to do the ball between the feet, do it between the feet and the butt. So for those of you who struggle with keeping your feet close to your seat, put the ball between your feet and now rock back and up. And Vero, that's a fun way for you to try to get up onto your shoulders. Oh yeah. Amy has a helper, Sarah has a helper, Kristen, sometimes Vero has a helper.
Let's see, I do
On and
have a
off.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, Amy.
When you're pushing the magic circle, are you pushing your head into the circle or your hand into your head?
Great question. 1 second. Vero, put the circle between your feet and your butt, not between your feet. So between your heels and your butt. Yes. Yeah, okay. Amy, you push with the arm and the head resists being pushed. So it's like almost like a bicep curl. Yeah. The heel of the hand is always on the circle, and then push from where your arm meets your back. Yeah. And then Melissa, I would give yourself more space. I'd probably stand up or kneel for that. Vero and Ann, how is the ball between the feet and the seat? I want Laura and Sue to do the rolling like a ball with the ball between the feet and the seat.
That's like the most challenging version of rolling like a ball, I think, for sure.
You want to know why? Because if you're used to your feet getting a little bit away from you to take you over. And so why I like it for you is to get on your shoulders, we have to get your butt up, not over, up. So it forces you to go up. Yeah. Super hard. You can also do it with a magic circle. I don't do it with the magic circle in classes because circles go flying, like literally shooting out. Also in a group class, you don't want to tell like 20 people to put a magic circle handle in their butt.
A lot of things can happen.
A lot of things can happen. Yes. Yeah. And how was it?
So it was interesting. I started with between my knees just to play with it, and then I went between my feet. So then I started to feel connected. And then when I went back behind my knee where it connected, it was like I had finally control of it. And it made me work both of my sides of my body equally, whereas they weren't prior.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Fun. Well, Laura, point your feet and just have a little more fun. You're kind of timid. So just go for it. Up. There you go. Again, up. Less from your head, more from your stomach. Up. There you go. Yeah. Oh, breathing helps. There you go. Yeah. Some of you are like slow, torture. Okay. Questions on any of that? Again, not an exact, guys, people teach 7 hours on a 2x4. So like obviously the magic circle has a ton. So and also like if I'm having someone struggle with their hands staying together on double leg kick, I don't use the magic circle to teach it. I really use a towel. And I find ways to teach that flexibility in their shoulders somewhere else because it's the circle and double leg kick in the hands is just torture. I have a ton of flexibility and I can barely hold on to the circle with the heel of my hand. So if you want to torture people, you can. But if you're trying to get their hands to layer and stay together, there's other exercises for that. There's other ways to like create flexibility in their shoulders. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to some sandbag. Kristen, can you highlight my map, please? So the sandbag, you would normally do the sandbag like standing on a wounded chair or standing on a Cadillac. I'm just going to do it here just because I don't have to move the camera on it so much. So we made these. So this is literally from that same dowel that I had from the closet dowel that was 6 feet long. I had them cut that in half. I got a dowel for my roll-ups. I took the other one and Brad cut that one in half. So we had two 18-inch dowels, and then you just drill a hole all the way through. This is paracord. They sell it in lots of fun colors. This is, shouldn't have bought this. I probably had like so many people send like, muslin cloth bags or bags with like a brand on it, whatever. Anyways, so this was like 99 cents at a craft store. And then we got these fishing lures, right? And we just added it. So like we got like 4 per bag. And so it can go from a half pound to a full pound. And if I wanted more, I could add more. I wouldn't go up to more than 3 pounds. Some people do it with rice, sand, but the reason I like weights of some kind of weighted anything, is because you can make it lighter or heavier. So you can make these fit your practice or your client's practice without like giving everyone a full pound of rice if they're not ready for it. So you want to hold it wide, wrist straight from your back. And then you're going to make a big dramatic open hand, roll it, reach it, and your elbows don't get to bend. And I have a right elbow that likes to hyperextend, so this is like literal homework. And you go, and ideally you're standing on something, so you have 6 feet of paracord, and we're going to pretend I did all 6, and then you reverse. It's not this. Open the hand, pull it around, open the hand. It's going to strengthen those forearms, the top and the bottom. So those you have wrist issues, should do this every day. All right. And then you could keep going. So I could actually keep reversing until it unwinds and then wind it back up. You can also do it while you squat. You can also do it on one leg. Right? So obviously, if someone's slaying, you can challenge them. Right? So love that. We have a couple here for everyone to play with. Where did I put my, okay. So the breathalyzer, not something everyone has. Don't go out and buy it. Some people will sell theirs. You can also get windmills. But the idea is that you like learn how to exhale. And yes, I think someone asked me if I'm talking about breath. Ideally, it's in and out through your nose. That's just, if you read the book Breathe on James Nestor, you'll actually see like why that's actually so important. But Joe was really big on exhale. And he was really big on exhaling because we are not going to forget to inhale. Most people inhale like this, short and shallow. I wonder why they walk around with anxiety. They're literally causing it. Like, it's like this really interesting thing. If you breathe into your chest only, you're just going to be a nervous Nelly. You got to like really do deep belly breaths, all that stuff. But there's a lot of studies that show that like we were supposed to breathe in and out through our nose, and it's actually people are having more and more issues with their body because they're breathing through their mouth. So you have this, and you can touch this one to you. Take an inhale. And the goal is that you would exhale for 30 seconds, 15 kind of moving this, and 15 just still exhaling. I did a lot better earlier today. So you know what? It might change throughout the day. With each one, you get a little more out of it, right? So that's really fun. Pencils. Literally practice picking up a pencil with your toes. And this is like literally not my favorite of any of them. Right? So you pick up a pencil and you try to do it with all of your toes. Try to do it with both feet. Oh, this foot is much better. Well, now we have some confidence in ourselves. So pencils are really fun to play with. Marbles. So Joe would have lots of different size marbles, and then you'd have like a jar, and you can do this seated or standing. It kind of just depends on like what you need. So if you need to work more of a hip flexor, then you could do it seated. If you want to work more of like a straight leg, you do it standing. And you pick the marble up and you drop it in, and you try to do it from different toes. So the first one was my first toe, the second one was my second toe. This one I'm going to try to do with my third. Ooh, I think I got 2. And then fourth. And then pinky toe. Ooh. You guys, that's so fun. That was a first. So it, practice magic. Okay. So marbles, super fun. Toe corrector. So Jay always said his favorite toe corrector was two broccoli bands. I think he even just said one. But so here you go. Just tie them together, and that's great. This is the heavy spring one from Balance Body. The leather isn't very soft, but I got it because every studio I was at that had the Gratz one that had the nice soft leather, the soft leather kept tearing. It just kept tearing. And then guess what? Did they replace it? No, they didn't. You could just buy another $120. So anyways, this is really great. I also have one by Feetness that I really like because it has a toe corrector and you can put your feet in it. So essentially, you can put it around your big toes, or you can put it around, if that is really weak on someone, you could actually put their second toe in it, right? So you can go like that. And so you can go out and in. So both legs go out and in, or just the feet can go out. You can point and flex and point and flex, and you should feel hamstrings, glutes, stomach, right? If you just feel it only in your foot, obviously you're doing choreography. You can do one foot, then the other foot. You can draw circles. Go the other way. Woo! Some good booty stuff, right? So I love that. The Feetness one, what's really cool about it, you have the toe corrector part, but you can also put around the foot, and you can still do the out and in, right? And you can point and flex and point, and you can pedal and pedal and pedal, right? So if you have toe stuff that makes this painful to use a toe corrector, that makes it really fun to still connect the feet to the seat. Yes, I've seen people, because I ask people often all the time, like, do you use the toe corrector in exercise? I've seen people use the toe corrector in neck pull, to like pull apart, or in the roll up, or in teaser. Sure. Just make sure you know why you're doing it. Is it to help you get more seat? Great. If it's just to make it fun and hard, then that's not probably necessary. What's fun about this little contraption is when I travel, I can use it as like a dowel. I can pull it apart with my thumb, so I can do the roll up with it as a dowel, thigh stretch with it as a dowel. So I can push it, I can put it on my feet as if it was a magic circle. So if you want this, I'll put the link in Slack. Someone remind me to put the link for Feetness in Slack. Because Alara gave me an affiliate for you guys. So anyways, it's quite handy. It's got the toe and the foot thing, so it's quite nice. Okay, I think what did we do? We did pencil, breathalyzer, marbles, toe corrector. Let's do a foot corrector, and you guys can play again. So this foot corrector I like. The Balance Body one is on a platform. I don't love that, so I would stand on something else with your other foot just to keep your hips even. Pilates Legacy makes really good foot correctors. Legacy Pilates makes good foot correctors. Pilates Designs and they all make the same fucking one. It's the same. Just good luck on seeing who has any parts. That's pretty much like last year. We couldn't get it. Not a single person could get. They were on the wait list everywhere. But you want to be a gait step away. So I don't want to see someone like this, like a gait, like how you walk, gait. So then you're on the ball of your foot, you stand tall, and you push. And you push. Right? And so the goal is that you can see if the person is pushing evenly, or are they rolling to one side or the other? That's the goal. And they come a little closer. Okay. So that's the trick. Also, without leaning. So you're not doing this with your body. Got to be tall, square off. Right. And then you can also, on the ball of the foot, pump it. And then you should be able to pick the foot up and balance. If you have too much weight on this leg and you can't pick the foot up, then like you're kind of using the body weight, not the back of your leg. You can also pump on the arch. So the balance, you can pump on the heel. And it's an up down. Then you can do heel. Oh, did you hear that noise? Did anyone hear it? Though the people here heard it. It heard like screeching. That was because I rolled out. So a good foot corrector will make noise when you grind to one side, right? So Joe would, if he had like some stressed out business guy come in, he'd make him go get on a foot corrector or a small barrel. And before he'd deal with them, he didn't like them. He was like, no, get over there. Because you get on the foot corrector, you have to like focus and think. You can't just like blah, 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 right? So it really is nice. And then you can massage your foot by doing the toe, pull the pedal down through the heel, lift it up, and then push the heel, hold it down through the ball of the foot. Really nice. So why don't you guys play? Let's do the towel really quick while we have it. Do it really quick, and then you guys can play. So you take a good dish towel, and you can just seat it or standing. Heels are off, ball of feet are on, and you're just like scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. My right foot is doing way better than my left, probably because I did all those marbles. And then you flick it. And okay, and then you could do one foot. So you could just do, like my left foot wasn't the strongest, so I could just do the left. And then I could flick it away. Oh, you're gonna do it. Laura asked, what is it doing? Your feet are the same as your hands. Did you know that? Your feet have as many joints, like there's most joints are in there. And we all shove them in shoes and we wonder why our back hurts. So this is actually making you work all the muscles in your feet, and then flicking it away makes you work all of this up here. So you stretch it out, right? So you're doing both directions. And the other thing is that last October, when Laura and I were in Cambodia together, I would do this without a towel, and I couldn't get my third toe knuckle to even come to the party. And now it's there. I see it. Right? So, like, it's really important that your feet, because, like, most people point their ankle, but the ankle point is not a point of a foot. So, most people, like, I'm over pointing my ankle, right? But if I actually point my foot, now my arch is lifting, right? So most people are like, oh, there, the ankle's pointed. I have high arches, so it's like a cheat. But like it's like we got to get the foot to point. So the towel is so good. People are like, I want homework. I'm going on a trip. Good. Get a towel out of your They could do so many towels in a hotel and do that. Okay. So you do that with your feet. You can do 2 or 1 foot. And then there's a TMJ people who have jaw stuff. So Jay was like, yeah, there's this thing. You take a towel, you twist it, put it in the back of your mouth, and you pull. Whew. Oh, you better do it on both sides. I feel uneven now. Like this feels so relaxed now. Uh-huh. I would only pull as hard as you're biting down. You don't want the towel to come out. Yeah, like you'll feel. So fun. So I'll keep this because my mouth was on it. Okay. Play. Everyone needs to play. So play with towels, play with pencils, play with marbles. If you have a foot corrector or a toe corrector. I have some straws. Oh, good. Oh, here they are. So here's extra straws. There's only two. So one of you use one side and one use the other. Don't spread bird flu, please. Thanks. I would actually move that foot corrector further away, Laura, because I don't think your steps are that small and they're probably not that big. So somewhere in between. Yeah. And then bring your right foot to the right because you're on a straight line. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah. And then bend your left knee because it's locked. Your other, yes. Now, nope, you're leaning now. Sit up tall. Just push the foot. Yeah, yes, it's hard. She said it's hard. Yes, that's why I like that one. As far as you can push it without leaning forward. The foot corrector pedal can only be pushed from your foot. And just have your heels off. Have your heels off and then curl your toes. Yep. And then pull it. Don't walk your feet forward. Nope. Nope. Don't move your feet. Plant your heels. They stay. Just curl your toes over and over and over again. Curl them. Curl them. Both at the same time. Curl. Right. Yes. Curl and curl and grab and curl. Yes. It's not going to move very much if it's your first time. Amy, if you're doing heels, move your left foot forward. It's a little far away from you. Yeah. I know you want to see what you're doing, but look up. Okay. Yeah. And then you two, you're on kind of a tightrope and you're too far away. Move your left foot closer. Yep. And now bend your right knee. Stand up. There you go. Oh, the pumping is faster. Up and up and up and up and up. Now pick your foot up and can you balance? There you go. And sit up as tall as you can. Yeah. You have towels. Oh, you can't do it like that. You got to put your feet on a mat. Put your feet on a mat. No, put them on the mat. Yeah. Yeah. That way your quads aren't working to hold your legs up. Yeah. Now open, close, circles, pedal. And can you do that without tipping your hips? Nice, Amy. That pencil is so hard, Melissa, isn't it? It's like annoying. Be more dramatic, Laura. Stretch the hand, stretch it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Straight elbows, straight elbows. And this fun? Like how many things? Like a pencil, marbles. Like you can literally buy a big bag of marbles and put a bunch in a little baggie and give to people to take home for homework. Oh, I know. And you didn't even do a whole wrap. Laura's arms are dying and she didn't even finish. Isn't that pencil so hard, Sarah? It's so hard. Shannon, hold the bar evenly because I think your right arm is not as far over as your left, so that's going to be weird. And then your elbows are kind of bending, so make sure you open the hand. Open, grab, open, grab, open, grab, open, grab. Yes, and turn it, and turn it, and turn it. Yep, straighter elbows, straighter elbows. Yep, straight elbows. Mm-hmm. I feel like, Shannon, I feel like, yeah, I like that you're not doing a weight because of your shoulder surgery, but I also don't like what's happening in your elbows. No, I'm positive. Better, getting better. So your elbows can bend, Shannon, not your wrist can bend, not your elbow. Wrist can bend up and down. Yeah. And it could be the shadows, Shannon, but I can't see your hand open and curl, open and curl, open and curl. Yeah. Much better. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that left one doesn't want to open all the way. Your right one does. Yeah. Woo. And if you're feeling it all in here, great job. If you're feeling it in your upper traps, bad job. Yeah. How's that feel, Sue? Yeah. Yes. So Sue is using like toe corrector, but she has arthritis in one foot. So using the loops around her foot allows her to do the toe corrector exercises, but not affect the arthritis. Whoa, Laura is a perfect pencil. Laura, Laura has a perfect, her right foot is like all about the pencil. Her left foot, not so much. Yeah, I know. My right foot, like one toe can pick up the pencil, and my left foot just grabbed it. Yay, Kristen, you're gonna make 5. Yeah. It's the flare. Everyone forgets. Like, it's the one time when you get to spread your hands, and everyone's like, we're not milking a cow. hmm Hold it wider. Yeah. Yes. Shannon has new homework. I think she's obsessed. And I really love that she does everything walking around. I think that's so interesting. hmm How's it going, Barrow?
I was just gonna say I'm loving this marble thing.
Isn't that great? Your kid can do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
it's so good though, because it's like it's hard because the pencil gets all of your toes working together, but this one, like just kind of messing around with the neural connection of trying to figure out like how to connect to like one toe at a time.
Yeah, and you can make it easier or harder, right? You can do it with them sitting and they have a big bowl to drop it into. You can do it with them standing and you have a small jar that they have to make it into. So you can make it as hard as you need. Um,
Yeah.
I found that like when I was practicing to do this for the accessories flashcards, I could only grab the marble with like my last two toes. And my big toes, because of like I've had like a level one bunion for 15 years, like literally starting Pilates has like stopped that from being anything. And I have no pain. But when I point my toes, my big toe doesn't point. And so grabbing a pencil or grabbing the marbles is really hard. And then just practicing picking up the marbles in a few months, now I can do it with each toe. And that's so fun. Like you can rebuild any strength you were missing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Questions, wonders, worries, aha moments.
Actually, I just want to chime in on all of it because, you made the point that all the props are for the whole body. It's not
Yeah.
just like use this prop here for your wrist, like that the
Mhm.
entire thing has to come into play. Like even when I was using the ring for the chin thing, my initial thought
Mhm.
watching that was, oh man, I'm gonna be feeling it in my neck, but the reverse happened. Everything relaxed here. Honestly, I mean, I still felt the connection, but I felt so much more of this is part of the, prop magic. It's magic.
Yes. Yes. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of fun. And so like we're not so limited to 30 something exercises on the mat, are we? Because with towels, and like that's what I really love about this, most of these props, the sandbag you can make for not a lot of money. We'll do the 2x4 in a second. You toe corrector, two rubber bands. So like Joe had all these really great tools that we can all use at our disposal. Now, yes, the foot corrector is ridiculously overpriced. And I'm so sorry, but a breathalyzer, I haven't been able to make one and it's like $95. But so don't like honestly, like figure out if you really want to play around with it. You can use windmills. It's fine, but there's a lot of these things you can just do on your own marbles. I bought mine. They're really beautiful. I'm obsessed with them. It was on Amazon and they're actual like crystal stones that are in the shape of marbles. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what I want. But you can also get hot pink ones like Sarah. I bet you if you guys go to the Marshall store, I bet you where like there's like marbles, like there's just marbles everywhere. So like, you know what I mean? Like these are things that you can just have and they're a great way for people to calm down before a session starts almost because it's like, here, hold on. Pick up some marbles with your toes. And then all of a sudden they're like so frustrated by like how they can't get it with their big toe or their pinky toe that they forgot the traffic and all the things. And then you finally have a client you can actually work with, right? Really fun. Okay, I want to do 2x4. Um, And then I think I have 2x4 left and push-up devices. So here we go. Kristen, will you spotlight the mat, please? Okay. So this orange one is a 2x4 I purchased. And these ones we made with a used yoga mat and a 2x4. And for my Canadians and Europeans, why is it called the 2x4? This this is 18 inches long of a piece of guys, a piece of 2x4. Okay. And what is a 2x4? It's what they make houses with. I don't understand. I don't, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things, like, it is what it says it is. So if you just go to a hardware store and you're asking them for a 2x4, they'll take you and they'll be really long. And if you ask them to cut them, if you're at a smaller hardware store, you're going to get them to cut it to 18 inches. If you're at a bigger hardware store, Lowe's will do one cut for free. I know. So I was like, okay. So we just had them cut a We just had him cut it smaller, and then Brad was able to use our little saw here to cut them smaller to this. But anyways, this is the yoga mat. It's tied around twice, but once on the bottom, twice on the top. And so it's a little squishier on the top, which kind of mimics the squish here. And we have a blog and a video on how to make them. Do you have more things to add to that, your 2x4? Yeah, $20 and 30 minutes of time. Brad, is a 2x4 is not actually 2 inches by 4 inches. It's 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. But Brad says you just buy a 2x4 and it's the right size. But sometimes people show me their 2x4s, and I think the hardware store lied to them because it was like 1 inch by 3 inch. And it's like, no, it's definitely closer to 2 and 4 inches. Okay. So so don't let them swindle you. You want it to be, you don't want it to be too thin unless you have really tight ankles, but then you want to build yourself up. So the balls of your feet go on this 2x4. Carrie, will you just kind of put this over there? Yeah, thank you. Okay, just so they can see the whole thing. Okay, so I don't like them to be too long because then it's like too balanced. You want them to be, you know, like 18 inches is kind of nice. And then you separate your feet so they're parallel. You can also do this turned out. So I'm going to do it parallel. And then the goal is that you don't lean forward or back. So you can bend your knees. Now, if you have really tight ankles, good luck. And then you're going to lift your heels. I got too high because I have very hypermobile ankles. So I have to be careful. I get a little excited. And then you stand up and then you lower the heels. So you're not taking your body weight forward and back. Then you reverse it, you lift the heel, you bend the knees, and then you lower the heels. So hard, okay? Then you can do it with a single leg. And the single leg can be forward or back based on what you need to strengthen. I have to stretch this. So I do it back. I'm going to grab a gondola pole. So woo. One is not easy. This is my weaker leg. Ugh. But it's fun. So you can play. And you do it to connect your feet to your seat to help you understand the point and the flexes. And it will stretch the ankle, but more importantly, it actually strengthens. A lot of people have weak shins, and that's why their ankles don't flex. Like their ankles are tight, but it's like they're tight because they're weak. There's muscles here that are supposed to do it. So it's super fun to do. Okay, so then we have push-up devices. So Brad and I are going to make a blog on how to make them with PVC pipe. Because they're way too expensive. They're hand spun wood. And so when I bought them 5 years ago used, they were $500. Yeah, I think they're like $700 now. I think they're, huh? Oh yeah. I mean, it's not hard, right? So you can make them with PVC pipe as well. And I think the PVC pipe will be nicer on the hands anyways. But essentially, when I asked Jay, like, what did people do with the push-up? Because there's like, if you look at videos, like there's people who are doing like full-on classes with this stuff. And like, and Jay said, oh, you did push-ups with them. So don't spend $500 just to do push-ups with them. Okay. Like, don't do that. But I will say that I did do a few exercises with Jay with them that I think are very helpful. And then you, of course, will create a ton more as needed, right? As opposed to entertain. So at any rate, you stand here. And I like the push-up devices for people who struggle with push-ups because elevating people makes it an easier push-up. But also if they have wrist issues, having the handles, the wrist can be straight, makes it more possible. Shannon will like push-up handles over push-ups on the mat, right? So the other reason is some people are strong enough to do negative push-ups. So they actually can go lower than their this. And so that would challenge that. So you go, you're here, you go into it, you do a push-up, you step in, you come up. The step in and step out is single leg stretch. So it's not just like, all right, I'm gonna do a push-up. Okay, right? Like that's the in and out is as important as the exercise. Then you can also do leg pull. And so you would come, step into your push-up, and then land softly. And you could be here, you could work on those kicks, you could do some dips, and then you try to pull your knees into your chest and shoot them back. Woo, that didn't happen this morning. Nice. And then you step in. Okay. You can also do an L sit. So again, it's about control. So you can step out, push up, then I'm in a half process. So you're trying to pull your legs through and land in an L sit. I'm gonna kind of find a ball. There we go. And then feet. And then jump out. Right? Could you have someone practice their tendon stretch? Sure, you could do that. You could you could practice leg pull. It's totally fine. Like, totally fine. You can do a star, turn one to the side, right? And you can do star and practice that. Again, really great if people have wrist issues or just for training things. I'm not going to jump up into a handstand tonight, but I'm going to show you how I use the Cadillac for a handstand. So I know you are. We're gonna try the kick up again. Here we go. Here we go. You guys, we're gonna try. It's a little scary is really the biggest problem. Okay. We made a mess, Brad. You're having a good time. Second time through the prep. It's a bit of a hot mess. Okay. So this is harder than your regular handstand because you're elevated. No, we're gonna do it. Not to point my toe because of the ceiling. Almost. Almost. Look at how good I am. I could touch my toes to the ceiling. That's how I did that. All right, so now let me show you. You want to do it? Okay. Okay. So um because I don't always have time to wake Brad up to spot me for handstands, use I was talking to my friend Ken, who got to teach alongside Jay. He's been teaching he's been teaching almost 40 years. Anyways, he's like, oh yeah, someone showed me this, and I quite like it. So you have your push-up devices, you lift up, and then you use your Cadillac. Fun, right? So it kind of helps you like get used to being on your arms. If you're like, why would I even do handstands? What's the point? So how many times we take our arms overhead in Pilates? So many times. And if you're used to going shoulders in, what's really cool about handstands is it forces you to get your shoulders on your back. And so I think, and also if you're telling people to reach and they're like, okay, I'm reaching, right? Like having the weight of reaching into like a handstand helps you really feel like, oh, that's what you mean by reach. For those of you who are trying to reach into your handles on a mat, like practicing a handstand kind of helps you go, oh, that's the reach I'm looking for. So it's not to like impress your friends or create Pilates porn. It's like, how does this actually help me understand how to reach from way down here all with my fingertips? Cool? Okay. So now it's your turn to have some fun. Don't all get up at once. There's plenty of 2x4s. There's 3. You don't have to do the handstand.
Hey, Leslie,
Yeah.
quick question. So on the handstand part, you have the handstand handles, but when you talk about reaching overhead, you could, in theory, just do a handstand without the apparatus, right? And that serves the same purpose, or is there something more that you're getting out of using the actual handles versus just putting your hands on the floor and taking a handstand against the wall, for example?
You can. I think of can you mute yourself? You can. The thing that I think that with a push-up device does is it keeps the wrist straight versus which is like when a lot of Pilates our wrists are straight on our with our hands up. That being said, I think you're fine to not like I wouldn't say go get push-up devices just to teach people handstands. Absolutely. You just have to know that like it's gonna feel a little different because their wrists are bent, but sure, you totally can. Um I there's something about the Cadillac handstand that almost feels like you're doing a handstand in the middle of the room because like you know what I mean? You're not putting the weight against with your heels on the wall where people kind of hang out in their lower back. It forces me like I can't let my back sag or I'll fall. So there's just different ways. But yes, of course. I love that idea. Hands on against the wall. Yeah, totally fine. Laura.
Could you essentially use like a heavy set of dumbbells to do that? Like 10-pound weights or something like that?
Yeah, like a really big weight.
Yeah, like something sturdy, not like a 3-pound.
Definitely something sturdy because you don't want as you're kicking up or jumping through for them to move. So I would probably grab like I haven't tried it at our gym with like the 50s, but I imagine those because there's enough gap. They're pretty high up.
Yeah,
But I think you could then your body weight could swing through and swing back and they wouldn't slide around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shannon said Lowe's sometimes will tell you they won't cut anything that they're afraid you won't buy the whole dowel. Oh, honestly, I just tell like I mean like I didn't have an issue. I think they like made me take something to the front, but also you could say I'll go buy the dowel and then you can cut it. They gave me one dowel cut. They wouldn't cut it smaller than 36 inches. They said they couldn't do that, but they could cut from 6 feet to 3 feet, and you get your first cut free. So I don't know, Shannon. Maybe we have to put some lipstick on. Maybe we have to be. I don't know. I don't know, babe. Maybe wear a dress. I don't know. I got the 30. I got the dowel cut one time, but they won't. Oh no, that's don't talk to a woman at Lowe's or TSA. You know, women are not nice to women. This goes back to the conversation we had with Pharaoh. And this is why. You want to know why? Because there used to only be one woman at the top of everything. And unfortunately, like that's how things are going, right? So like, unfortunately, women were always taught you had to beat every other woman. And so now there's like, it's an ingrained in our cells. But yet, no, I don't. I literally, I do talk just, you're right. I did talk to a man. I had Brad with me though, so it still worked. Yeah, are they a foot off the floor? Let me get a measuring tape, Kristen. And separate your feet more and you're sticking your butt out. So we have like, look at these three girls doing their 2x4s. Kristen, I knocked it over this time, my fault. Kristen, the bolt is 10 inches from the floor. The bolt is 10 inches from the floor, but which is where the handle is. So like the fancy design is around 11, 12. But
Okay.
But yeah, so it's about 10 inches.
Okay.
I think if I was going to make it with PVC pipe, I would just go for the 10.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
if you make them higher, it's going to be harder to kick up to handstand. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But then you want to have enough room so that you can get your body under there too.
Yeah. I think 10 inches. I mean, that's what that is. 10 inches is pretty good because your
Okay.
arms are also, it's an arm
Length.
ratio as well. So if you have short arms, then you have to have the good flexibility, but also people have to have the flexibility to get their, if they have a sucky rolling like a ball, that's not for them yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Amy's using dowels. And so so you can see how or weight, I mean, they're just really low to the ground. And so it's kind of doing a push up on the floor, but I like it. I like what you're doing. Also, I like it, Amy, because you can feel what push ups with straight wrist feels like. So people who need it. Go ahead, Vero.
I was gonna say on the 2x4 exercises, I remember learning those for the one to chair to do those on the pedal. Like once you push the
Yeah,
pedal,
I was talking about this. I don't understand how people are doing it on the pedal
it's just
because it's really high. So people have tight ankles. Like I'm not really sure how they're doing it. Um, I think it's fine. I think if you have really open ankles. And then the other thing is you don't have the instability when you use that because the weight of the chair isn't going anywhere. So what I like about the actual 2x4 is like if you go too far forward, it kind of wobbles a little bit. It's like so that's what I like. I have so the high chair has a more flat pedal, but it's like 4 inches off. So I actually would just have people just use the wood base because that's about 2 inches and just
oh
not
yeah,
pull the pedal down.
that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, the high chair, at least my high chair one is thicker
Mhm.
than my one to chair platform. Yeah. Yes, Shannon's right. Make sure you tell me you're gonna buy the whole dowel. Yeah, you bet. Yes, I didn't really have the issue, but I think it's, just some people are sticklers for things and not trusting of people. Also, if you have a smaller hardware store, like in LA, there was one, it was called like not Aardvark, but like something with an A. And they were so helpful, so nice, they would do anything for you. So like I think smaller hardware stores will do anything for you. And I know our Chicago girls had a lot of luck with a local hardware store, literally drilling the hole through the middle of the dowel. So questions about these exercises, why to use them, what they're for? Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
Like I struggle with heel pain in my right foot. Sometimes like when I wake up or like if I've been standing and working for too long. So just with that, are there any of these we've been using that can be helpful with just releasing whatever that is?
Do you know why you have heel pain? Okay. Well, since we're locals, you got to see my chiropractor. She'll change your life. But she's got lasers and stuff. She's amazing. Anyways, I would say without knowing what's going on, and it sounds like after a long day of being on it, it sounds like a cat situation. So then I would say if it doesn't hurt to do the 2x4, I would do the 2x4. If you have access to a foot corrector, I would do that, and then toe corrector. So all that stuff where we can like work the feet, work the seat, work the ankles, right? I think that that should help it a lot. And that's where I would start. I wouldn't do too much too soon because you want to kind of, you won't know if anything bothered, if it hurts more, we won't know which one did it. But like to me, the 2x4 is for everybody. Every freaking body can benefit from the 2x4. I don't care how advanced they are. I don't care. Like it's so humbling and helpful to connect the feet to the seat and really teach them a true like work through the foot in a point. The point isn't just an ankle, but the whole foot and stomach. And you can work that in turnout and parallel, and you can work that single leg. So that's what I would start with. And then I would add in toe corrector and foot corrector to work the point and the flex and the circles. Mm-hmm. And then we just have to like, because you do have some tightness in your calves. I think there's some, some stuff going on there. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anne.
What kind of glue did you use to put the yoga mat on to the 2x4?
Staple gun.
A staple gun. Okay.
And we stapled along the sides, the side towards the bottom. So it's not it's not near your feet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Amy.
My husband and I watched your tutorial on making the sandbags. So we've got those. So definitely these 2x4s is next. So that's on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah. On YouTube. We went live and made them on. And toe correctors. Let me grab this so you can see. So like, and Brad literally broke down like how, because honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had made this, it would have been like a bulging, like it would have been like a Tootsie Roll over here. I just would have been like, let's just tie it off. I'm not, you guys, the perfectionist in me, I think was like trained by the world because I'm an Aquarius. So I just don't, details are just not like, I like the idea of things. So anyway, thank God for Brad. So the bottom has no staples, top has no staples. So it's just around this edge here and here. So it's not like where feet are going to be, right? And it won't make the thing wobble back and forth. So staple guns. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have one, I bet you a neighbor does. Like, yeah. Kristen had a client in her 70s go and make her own 2x4. She was a regular. It's so good for balance. It's amazing. And like if you want to add in like standing single leg push-ups, or if you want to, there's stuff you want to do on the reformer, like you have to get those feet connected to the seat. Otherwise on the reformer, we're just going to be hanging off stuff. So good. Yeah. Any other questions about props, how to use them, when to use them? I didn't go over the wall. Let me do that really quickly while you come with your questions. So Joe Pilates did have some wall exercises. And the wall is a really good tool for feedback of a tall back. But he didn't do, just like he didn't have how to use a magic circle for every exercise, he did not have a wall Pilates thing. I mean, as we know, as teachers, most of that wall Pilates stuff is just like fitness on a wall, right? So he would take light weights and do little sparkler, like little circles on it where your head and your shoulders and your ribs and your butt are against the wall to help you find that tall back. You could do the 100 at the wall. You can do roll downs. So I have some clients that because of neck stuff, like being on their back to roll up is like not an option, but you can go to a wall and they could roll down and they could start to work that thoracic spine. You can do single leg circles at a wall, right? And so then you're just at the wall and you take one foot slightly in front of you and you draw circles. And you see if your body slides to one side. If it does, it means that standing hip isn't helping you, right? You can do single leg stretch at the wall. You can be against the wall and like lift one leg into your chest, grab it, pull it down. So it helps you feel like, how am I? Am I shifting my weight? Really good feedback. You can do wall squats. And there's a lot of wall squats that Joe would do. And so you can also use the wall. Like for feedback on your spine switch forward. You can use the wall, put your feet on it for teaser. Like, so I would just say what I learned in that Joe did with the wall was really about feedback. So 100 roll up, arm circles, wall squats. In J Studio, we did the single leg circles and the single leg stretch. That's all we did with the wall. But you know what? I've had teachers who worked with them. I was struggling with my star and they took me to the wall. So just know that, like, even though Joe didn't give it to us, like, if you can figure out how to use the wall to provide feedback so your words don't have to do it, use the wall. It's a great accessory and it's free. Most people have one, like, so it's really, really nice to use. You can put your feet against the wall, do spine twists and see if their feet move. So sometimes it's like, you can tell people like, oh, don't turn your hips. Feet need to stay together. Squeeze your legs together. Or you can put their feet against the wall and literally make them twist and they can see that their foot left the wall. Just know that the wall was really useful. If Joe used weights in the studio, they're really light, 1 pound. And there's a ton of things. Like Joe did a lot of stuff that was like boxing moves. So I like to use the light weights to mimic any standing arm springs. I love to do some standing arm work for people afterwards. So, but 1 pound weights are amazing. 2 is a max. Honestly, like I personally prefer 1 all the time. And when I do my barrel work, I just use 1, even though I'm really strong. 2 gets me hanging off joints, and so why torture yourself? Yeah. All right. Any questions about the props? We have plenty of time for more questions too, because obviously we have Q&A calls as you work with your partners. My hope for today was just to show you, like, look at all these different tools. So if you're struggling, like, let's talk about Laura, for example. Laura struggles with her shoulders being on her back, and she struggles with finding her fast. So if I was to work with Laura, maybe one day I'm going to warm her up by having her do the fast little press down and have her do the magic circle with both legs. Maybe I'm also going to have her do the arm press downs, right? Maybe we're going to push her head into the thing, get her head on, and then let's do her mat work and see how it works. Did we get what we wanted? Did it get better? Or maybe I'm going to see her do her mat work because she's been practicing so hard on her own. She's been doing her 1 rep drill. She's been doing her homework with her props. And then I'm going to watch her do her mat work and I'm going to go, oh, what? Yeah, she's more theatrical. Let's do a standing series today to end the workout. And then she's ending standing up. That makes sense? So my hope is not that I limit you into like not using props within a workout, but to figure out like, well, where do I know I need connections and then warm up with that, or do the work, notice what it is that day, and then go, what do I need? And look at all your tools, your wall, your weight, your magic circle, your ball, all this stuff, and go, okay, I really struggle with curling up. It feels this all in my neck. Okay, let's do the ab series with a squishy ball. Okay, let's do some arm back connection stuff so that I get my arms on my back and I'm not using that. Oh, you know what? My feet, I really struggle to feel my feet connect to my seat. Okay, let's do some 2x4. So the idea is that you are using these tools to prepare you for next time as your exercises, right? Cool? Okay. And I expect you guys to have questions about these as we go through. I even expect to see something that I didn't teach you, but I just ask that you're not dropping everything. I know that out of 30 something exercises, some of you think that 20 are suck. And you're like, let me grab my magic circle. Now let me grab my towel. Well, let me grab this. And it's like, what I'm going to caution you is that we don't have 20 binkies. Okay. That you start to figure out, what do I need to get warmed up? Or can I trust my body to do the best that I can? Can I celebrate what I did? And then what do I need for tomorrow? Right? Okay. Questions? Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
So for like weights, would you ever have anyone do like the wrist weights, kind of things like those bala bands or stuff? Or just keep them in the small hand weights?
No bala. Um, the reason is I find it really pulls on people's elbows and biceps and pecs versus their hand being part of it. The pinky side of your hand is really key for this. So, and if their hand isn't holding, like if their hand's holding a weight and I see that their hands are like this versus like they're turned versus being parallel. This is a big difference, this to this, right? If it's a bala, you're not going to see what's going on with the hands as much and you don't have as much feedback for them. So I don't like ankle weight. I don't like hand. I mean, not for Pilates. I think they're fun for other things, but yeah. Yeah. And I know your girlies are going to come in because they bought matching balas to go with their matching Stanley and to go with that aloe outfit. They're just going to come in and then they're going to tell you, oh my God, Pilates is so expensive. And their outfit is like 3 sessions. And I'm just going to say, like, I would just tell them, like, I know that it feels harder when you do that, but you're actually working the bar to your body. They're going to pull your shoulders forward and it's not aesthetically pleasing when you're older. Like for those people, I'm like, here's what's going to make you not look good later. Because we want it to be for the back. Like one of the things that I so appreciate, and when you look at the order on the mat and when we get to the reformer, you'll see that every exercise is for the back. Right. So the 100 is obviously like pumping the arms from the back muscles. You're working the center to support the lower back and get longer. The roll up stretches the back. The rollover stretches the back. Rolling like a ball massages the back. Single leg circles challenges a tall back. So when you're standing on your legs, you can be balanced. Your ab series, you're pulling your arms from your back to strengthen your back, right? Then you get to your swan, spine stretch forward, stretching the back. Open leg rocker, lengthening the back. Corkscrew, now we're going to twist up there. Then we have our saw, stretching your lower back. Oh my God. If you anchor those hips, you guys are going to feel stretches in your QL like you've never felt before. Swan, strengthen the back. Single leg kick, strengthen the back. Like it's all for the back. And so anytime people put on like other things, it gets in the front and then we miss out on that stuff. Yeah. So not my favorite, but I have them here. Use them in like a trampoline class or something. They suck. Okay. Anyways, Vero.
The question. For example, tomorrow night I teach a duet mat class. So, like you said, it's kind of like figuring out where that middle place is, right? Like my brain's like trying to calibrate.
People?
Yeah. So I'm just like, from the practice on the material that we're covering, should I kind of start to reorient the focus towards the original mat series? With or without them knowing, but just for my practice in terms of teaching it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, they're not going to know. You don't have to tell them, hey, now, like what I highly recommend that none of you, like, I don't do this. We had one person do this and their clients got really upset. And it's like, if she just like slowly did it, they wouldn't have noticed the changes. So what I would start doing is like, yeah, pick out of what you know that their bodies can do, make that an order. So use the order based on what they can do. If you have other exercises that they do to warm up with it. That's fine. You don't have to like make it foreign. Use those exercises because they need it to warm up. We talked about pre-Pilates, I think, the other day, and it's like, yeah, so like it's their pre-work to do the work. But then take the exercises that they know and put them in the order. Say the name first, so they get used to the name, and then practice going, okay, I want you to do 2 more, and we're gonna all do it and just by yourself. Just do 2. Okay, and you don't even have to say I'm gonna be silent. They won't even notice. 2 seconds. And then I would just see how that goes. How did that make you feel? Where did you feel insecure? Where did you feel like you got more out of it? Ask them how. And like one of the things that one of our eLevate 1 girls always did because she was slowly turning people into just going with the orders on stuff. And she would just go, okay, so tell me one thing that you loved, what exercise you loved today, and one exercise you thought you struggled with. And they didn't know the names, but it helped them go and reflect and go, oh, I felt really good on this one. And this one, I felt like I really struggled. And if they ever said, I don't feel like I did anything good, she'd go, okay, well, here's where I mentioned you did a good job. right? And so that's why being specific with our compliments is so important.
Cool.
But yeah, that's how she would end it because that helped them actually connect the names to their body each session. Okay. And she trained it. She just started doing it every single time. And they got to the point where like at the end, they go, okay, Rael, I really love this one, but I didn't like this. Like they just started doing it. So, but I don't recommend going, hey guys, just want you to know I'm taking a whole new program and I'm actually going to change everything that we did. And so now on, you have to know your own stuff. I promise you, that's like too much. Can you imagine if your like partner came home and like told you like, by the way, I'm studying Spanish, and so now the whole house we're just going to talk in Spanish. Like, like unless you know Spanish, you'd be like, I'm sorry, because you're studying Spanish, I have to study Spanish. You know what I mean? So like, I would like, give them a little bit at a time and make it fun. Yeah, make
Okay.
it fun. If it's fun, they won't hate it. If it feels miserable, then they're gonna hate it from the start. So yeah. And the new clients, you guys, are so much easier because you'll just start them like this. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. So here's what I want to do. We're gonna take a little bio break, and Kristen and I are gonna put you in um rooms. We're gonna practice. We're gonna set the rooms up. I need honesty from you guys. Like, we're just gonna do a 1 rep drill, so it's not a full 30-minute. You're like moving for 10 minutes. But if there's anyone who's in the PM group who is not moving tonight, can you drop in the chat that like, hey, my body can't move tonight, so that Kristen and I don't make you in a group of 2 because then you'd have to move. We want to honor where your bodies are at. It's a 1 rep of what you can do. So you're not, and also you're in a breakout room, so no one's going to see you. You can be in your pajamas. We don't care. Is there anyone? Great. Awesome. Okay. So here's the deal. Let's come back 10 after the hour. Okay. And so that gives Kristen and I 10 minutes to make your rooms. That gives you plenty of time to like get some water, go to the bathroom, all that stuff. So, well, okay.
Mhm. Very good.
How'd it go, Melissa and Sue? Good. Melissa, we're reading her Alyssa's lips, but it looks like she made it through.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm learning something every single time. It never
Great.
stops. So yeah.
Isn't that so fun?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
still like that for me.
That's
Like
awesome.
yeah, Kristen same way. And like I remember when Jay passed, I had just done Pilates that day and I was talking with him about with my friend who was teaching me. And then he passed, and then I saw him 2 days later. And then he was like, oh, Leslie, if Jay was watching this right now, what would he say? And I was like, Kakapupushishi, hold on. He wants this. Like, and so I still learn. Like, there's still so much learning every time. Because also, like, if you're really evaluating yourself, like, I'll find that there's exercises that I feel like I like figured out. I finally figured it out. And then I get a little overwhelmed in my life. And then that exercise becomes something that like I become hyper fixated on, or I have fear. And it's like, oh, I'm back to the beginning again. And then it's like, okay, so why am I doing this exercise? Like for me on Thursday, it was like control push-ups on the reformer. I just have a little fear around them. And I'd gotten really, really confident. And then I lost my confidence when I hurt my knee. And I gained my confidence back after I'd worked with Jay. And then literally this last month, after being back from my tour, my control push-ups, I just don't feel steady on my feet. I feel like I can't hold myself up, right? Which is so crazy. I'm like, I did all this other stuff and I get to these and I can't hold myself up. And so I just remind myself, like, what is the point of this? Why am I moving the carriage out? Why am I moving the carriage in? Why am I lifting the leg? What is the point? Oh, it's to challenge my center. So why am I fixated on how far the carriage is going? I should be focusing on how does this affect my center? And so I would just like, you're just always learning, and you can't do it with every single exercise, every single workout. Like some of them just have to go. Some of them have to reveal. And some of them you get to go, oh gosh, okay, I'm panicking again. Oh, I'm rushing again. Oh, I slowed down. I had a good speed. Now I slowed down. I'm overthinking it. Right. And between you and your partner, you're really going to start to like learn yourself about that. It becomes really fun. And the same with your clients. Watch them when they do an exercise they don't like versus an exercise they love. Notice what they do. They rush through it if they don't like it. They listen. Right? Do they do it? Do they do like a sloppy, like what, like watch them and just go, oh, I noticed when you don't like exercises, you stop reaching, but you reach so good in this one. How'd it go, guys? Questions, aha moments, wonders, worries, concerns? Did anyone over talk? Woo, good. So good. Oh, I love Sarah's dog with their little toy. Did anyone have any exercises we need to review before we go back in and you switch places? Nope, you nailed it. We got it. Feels good. No, we don't got it, but we don't have questions. Okay. Shannon and Laura are going to learn how to like themselves and their process. Yeah, you're going to learn how to like yourselves and your process. It sucks to be not like it. If you're really good at something or if you pick up on things really easily, Pilates can be humbling and frustrating. And I just want to say that I get that. And I also want to say that if it starts to awaken any imposter syndrome type feelings, that's absolutely normal. There's like 5 different state types of imposter syndrome. And one of those is if like things come naturally easy to you and then you do something and it doesn't come naturally easy to you, then you can have these like feelings of like, I'm not good enough or this is fresh or this is whatever. And like, I just want to say that's normal and it's okay. And also if you thought like, wow, I was really slaying Pilates and now I'm doing it this way and I don't slay it at all, this is what your clients feel like as beginners. And so sometimes it's really fun to be back in that beginner mindset. And we don't like it because we think we're supposed to know something. But it's really important that I tell you that like, don't ever let this industry make you feel like you have to know this perfectly ever, ever. Because it's not black and white. It is very much a lot of gray and it depends on the body and the body that day. Okay. So Kristen, we're going to just hit create the rooms again. You guys, the other person's going to teach. If you're in a throuple, Christine cannot teach. She is driving. If you're in the other throuple, then you can decide if it's going to be 2 movers and or two observers. You guys can duke that out. Okay. Please don't take more than a minute to duke it out. All right. So 10 minutes to move, couple minutes to chat. We'll bring it back. Hello, loves. How'd it go? Is it feeling more familiar?
Yes. 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 Sue can probably tell you she was the mover this time. So
Sue, how'd it
it
feel
felt good.
second time today?
Unmute. It felt better, but Melissa and I were talking. I'm like, I still really need to work on solidifying the order and then really making those connections. And so, clearly have my homework cut out for me, but it's a feeling every time I do it, the more I do it, I feel better about it. And I'm like, oh, I know what's coming next. So that choreography is starting to come, I think. And then I need to work on that, juicing it up as you had talked about and getting those connections going.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, you'll get to juice it out once you're not second guessing, what am I doing here? Yeah, so I think it's great. I mean, something I didn't want to do in this program, but that I did find extremely beneficial. I didn't want to do it with you guys because it's not accessible to everybody and it doesn't allow people to be in process. So when I worked with Jay, we actually had to assess into like every time we had to assess that we were ready for the next part of the program. So I actually had to do the mat. And then they could say, yes, you're ready, or no, you're not. And if you're ready, what that meant is you could do the full order pretty much Maybe you omitted like one exercise if that was not right for your body, but you do the full order because when we did it with Jay, we did it over and over and over and over and over again and over again and over again and over again and over again. And that requires you to be at a certain level in your practice, and that eliminates access to me to understanding this. So I didn't want to do that when I created eLevate because I wanted to make sure that we could welcome all body types and all levels, and then we can learn from each other, and then we can rise you up together. And people who are already know the order, now we can watch how they get it juicy. So you could see people juice it out, and you can see people be at beginner, and then that makes you a better teacher because you were like, depending on where you are on that spectrum, you're seeing people at other parts around you. And then you're hearing what they're understanding, you're hearing what their questions are, and you're hearing like, so you always know that there's more to grow. But yes, if you're still second guessing what comes next, of course you're not juicing out the exercise you're doing because you're focusing on, I don't know what comes next, right? So thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really cool to see like as you get more comfortable, then you can get juicy, but try not to do both at the same time for you or for your clients, right? Yeah. What else? Yeah, Vero.
I was just telling Shannon that I love it and that I'm like re-inspired to try to do this every single day, which I have lacked so much motivation to do that for a very long time. So I appreciate the little kick in the butt to get the ball rolling again.
Yeah, just share and slack. Like, did my one rep. That's all you have to say. You have to say if it was good or it was bad or what you think, because you'll inspire someone else to go, oh, I got to do that. Took me 7 minutes. So I gave you guys 10. So your goal is to go from 10 to 7. And, if you get to 5, then we can juice it out. So you're lined up. So like, and we all have 7 minutes in a day. 30 minutes is 2% of your day. So 7 minutes, you know what I mean? So yeah, give it a try, especially if you're omitting stuff like that way it becomes less overwhelming. You can't learn Pilates from a book. And I say this with like, I love a manual. I love my flashcards. I love all those things. You got to learn by doing. You really, really do. You got to move it in your body, So, and it's hard if you're having a bad day or you're having a low back issue, but your clients come with those things too. And you're like, and you tell them, oh, come anyways. I can work around it. So you too have to go, okay, how do I work around this? What do I do? Yeah. Any other questions, aha moments, wonders, worries, concerns?
Sarah's
What,
dog
Amy?
is so funny.
Sarah's dog is hilarious. Sarah's dog is obsessed with that pillow. Sarah, what is your dog's name?
His name is Cheddar.
Cheddar. So cute. So cute. And this
Yeah.
is not the room you were saying had the bad light. It was the room you were in on Friday.
No, it was the room on Friday. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think the light was too bad, but I guess I need to know what you're trying to use it for.
It's mainly the overhead light. It either casts a shadow or this bright spotlight behind me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to do something about that light.
So Brad is like, this is what, do you see that? And we have them and we can make them different heights, and we can make them yellow to white. And so like they're really high today, but because I was doing a YouTube video earlier, but usually they're like one's like halfway and then the other one, and even us will still have some shadow in the back, but you're kind of, you kind of are figuring. But that I think, and they're LED lights.
Okay.
Brad, what's the link? Is it profitapplies.com/live stream that has like lighting information? Yeah. So we have a lead magnet. that just has information about sound and lighting. And it's profitwise.com/live stream. It should get you a free, if it
Okay.
doesn't work, then let Melissa know you're looking for this
Okay.
PDF. We got our other set of lights. I know. There's a bee in the house, Brad. Thank you so much. The bee that attacked him last night is now in the house. But on there we have information for our guy from Sweetwater, and we got our second set of lights from Sweetwater. But our sales guy Nate is on there. And you okay. So Nate from Sweetwater, he'll help you with audio and sound and light. And they have now shipping to Canada might be a lot. So maybe I don't know about that. I don't know how much is shipping to Canada. So maybe when you engage with him, I would just ask. But we got a set of 2 lights that were pretty good. And then you play with like head on, off will like ditch some of those shadows that will from the overhead. But it is hard. Like in here, we have to turn on our overhead lights. And sorry, my dog can't handle a bee in the house, so it's quite a traumatic experience in here. So I apologize. So anyways, but yeah, and then the other thing is like if you want to take a picture or a video of the room with the lighting you have, and you want to put it in the questions, I'll have Brad chime in because he might be able to help. But it wasn't too dark for me, but yes, it was yellow. So I do understand it's not as bright
Yeah,
as this room.
it's yeah, it just doesn't look at all professional, the lighting to me. And like I said, the shadows and the spotlights, it looks like crap. Looks
I
really
mean,
bad.
unless you're like trying to film for like public consumption, it's not crap. You look great in it, but I do understand it's not as bright as this room. So yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I wanted to make sure I addressed. Um, Anything else? I promise you we are safe from this bee. Contrary to what my dog's reaction is, he doesn't like loud noises or bugs now. Okay, so here's the deal. This is not goodbye until the reformer weekend. We have the Q&A calls, the questions channel in Slack is where you post questions. I won't, unless I think it's an emergency or I see you guys are having a conversation that is like not what I would be saying. I don't jump into the questions channel until the Q&A call because I think it's more fun to talk about it than it is to read about it. Like I could write a dissertation and it would be like too many words. So it goes against like how I want you guys to understand for me to like write an answer dissertation. You don't have to be at the Q&A calls. Obviously, if it doesn't work, you'll get those replays and there's no time limit on those replays. But if you're not there, then we don't get to have a conversation about it. So just know, like, do the best you can to join them live if you can. The rest of the Slack is for you guys to mingle with each other and support each other and celebrate wins and share frustrations. If you do I need a moment channel, you must immediately go to the wins channel. I don't want you to say, I can't even think of a win right now. I'll come back later. No. You don't get to dump your shit on us and not give us a win to be inspired by. So that's a rule and I will call you out. Please connect with each other, and then do me a massive favor. Please be super adults around the partnerships. Okay. I know you've got stuff going on in your life. I know it's hard. I know there's things going on, but please communicate with them. Like, I've got this vacation coming up. Do you have this vacation up? The assessments due on this week and I'll be gone the week before. Can we like schedule those things in now so you're not in a panic, you're not in a rush? eLevate is not supposed to feel like this like oppressive thing on your shoulder. It's supposed to be this place where you can actually escape all that stuff and really enjoy having fun learning, and also prioritize your personal practice because it will affect your teaching. And if you have questions about exercises, film them and put those videos in the questions channel because I'll address that. So if you're like, Leslie, can you look at this move? Am I doing it correctly? One, I can do it on a Q&A call if you're there live. But two, if you can't be there, submit a video. If you have a question with a client, film them. Because if you just tell me, hey, my client's struggling with teaser, like, what can I do? I'm be like, I need to know, like, you know what I mean? And so it's more fun for us to look at the video moving than just talk about ideas of what could go on. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're overwhelmed by order, one rep drill is your friend. Okay. Especially because the reformer order is going to make you cry then. So let's just like, let's not be overwhelmed by the order because it is actually quite fun. And the more you use it, even if you use parts and chunks, the easier it's going to be. You know what I mean? You are all capable of doing that. So bug me if you have questions in Slack. Melissa is your friend when it comes to tech, and Meredith. And please, please, I think I said it already, but just a reminder, if you put us on Do Not Disturb, we cannot communicate with you about you. So don't do that. And please read Slack, not every day, but once a week, especially the announcements channel. Make sure you're set up to the Google Calendar. And then if you see something that like seems not right. All right, it's 24th hour. You see something that's not right. You're like, oh, that's weird. The date looks wrong. It said this over here. It's like, Melissa, is this right to you? I had it here because we are human and people are not perfect. And so all that stuff. So don't just assume that you're wrong. Like we could be. And please, please, please meet with each other. Meet with each other, even if it's just to move at the same time and not teach. Okay? Have an amazing day. You did it. Your first weekend's over. Kristen, any final words for them as they go off to practice all of this?
Just have fun with it and be curious. Ask each other questions. Talk through things. That is the best thing about this whole group. Like the camaraderie, and that you can bounce ideas off of each other and say, you know what, this feels weird, or this, how do you do this, or how would you teach this to this person? We share videos back and forth of clients too, asking questions about, yeah, and it's just such a great great resource. So I'm excited for you guys.
And next week, Kristen's partner, Megan. Megan is going to see her. They're going to see each other for the first time. So they've been meeting every week for over a year, and now they get to meet up in person in real life.
We live 5 hours apart. It shouldn't have taken this long, but it has.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering about the weekends after the reformer approvals, the team is working on it. I promise you. I know you really want to plan. There's a couple other things going on. And also Melissa is in South Africa. So she doesn't work my Monday to Friday. She works her Monday to Friday. So just know that we are working on that. We're trying to get that approved up to in the next week or so. And I know that like some of you have flights to buy and things like that. And I think like mostly we are just trying to honor everyone's different things and just make sure it's more moving parts than you think. So it's coming. But just we are working on it. We haven't forgotten about it. All right, you guys have an amazing day. Kristen, thank you for that advice. You guys are wonderful. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.